Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. 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 I don't know what the actual music sounds like right now, because I can't hear it. I can only hear it when I go to the normal screen. Oh no. Wah, ba, ba, ba. Wah, ba, 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 ba. Wah. Who called me Stinky Bob? Also, hello, sunshiny rays. You're on time, yeah. Hello, Clockwork. Hello, Dr. Smilex. Hello, Bob the Innkeeper. Hello, Anthony Rusty Dale. Yahoo. And yahoo to you, Branwy. Run, Sprinkles. Ow, ow, ow. I just had like 2 chocolate bars. Not chocolate bars. Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs. Breakfast bars. I'm being eaten. I'm a banana and I'm being eaten. No. I said, do you like my drawing? Do you like my drawing? I'm a teacher gets about orcs. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Look, it's an orc with glasses and he's got a little tweed jacket and he's got a tie. And, oh, darn it, I forgot to do the shadow on the shirt. It's fine. It's fine. For the wah! 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 Oh, I like the little chalkboard. It's a nice chalkboard. Gashing Goomba painting. Oh. You're a Goomba. I keep forgetting that, you know, my little plant pot over there with a plant in it. I animated that. Oh, look, you said nom 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 and it brought back up a little gif. Where he's in his art. Garjin Goomba. I don't know who Garjin Goomba is. When he's in his alternate art. When he's in his orc alternate form. Oh, what a wah! Wah! Oh gosh, I'm trying to get gloves on. It's not going very well. There we go. We's turned this ear rusty nail into Daka because we's orcs. Yeah! We's gonna learn orc culture. Orc culture, orc society. Yeah. Ah!
Hello. I'm going to music production soon.
You're going to music production. Hi, Fudge Puff. Thanks for popping in. You want to see the handcam? Which I said we're learning about orcs, but really, Harkin World Caller. We got his model. I'm not actually, if it's like any of the other stuff we've received, these extra things. Oh my goodness. No, it's not. It's all loose. It's not being glued together. Oh, that's bad. I didn't buy loose paper. Actually, I don't know if I bought this. I think they gave it away for free. Okay. Light on. Whoa. Yeah, I think it doesn't actually give us any lore about Handcam Ork Lore. It's just like, here's how to paint him, here's how to build him. This is what you do when you got him. Oh, wait a minute, there's a bit of information. Herald of the Apocalypse was a time when Handcam Ork Claimer, not Caller, prosecuted the Great Wars in his own name and for the glory of the night. Oh, he was a Night Lord. Oh, I thought he was a World Eater or something. Not World Eater, Word Bearer. But his work soon caught the attention of Abaddon the Despoiler. Filled with ambition, Handcam donned the colours of a Black Legion and ordered his war band to swear allegiance to Abaddon. Handcam and his Black Legion warband remain an aerial assault force sowing terror and confusion while Abaddon's ground troops move in for the kill. Oh, hello, Clemoniac. How you doing? And Vince Falcador's here. Hi. Here's a useless update. Snekrim has the Slipper ability that can climb walls that is 4 inches or lower. Ironic that Snekrim can fly. But it's not entirely useless, because the thing is, if you want to move through an object, so you've got this object here, you want to move through this object to attack the unit on the other side. Let's say you can move 12 inches, but it's 12 inches in a straight line away from you, or 10 inches. You have to throw, if you're flying, you have to move up at a diagonal like that and then down again. So it reduces your total movement by quite a significant amount. But if you can ignore 4-inch terrain, you can choose not to fly and instead just go in a straight line, ignoring the big old bit of terrain in your way. So it is actually useful. It means he doesn't have to fly over things. And it means that any 4-inch terrain. Now, on tournament boards, you don't have much 4-inch terrain. Most of the terrain is designed to be line of sight blocking. So they purposely don't have much terrain that's, you know, would be a buffer or would really matter. So yeah, it isn't a useless update for Fulgrim. But what else is here? Handcam Ork Claimer stands victorious on the site of a bloody battle. Gifts of the Despoiler.
Milady, I humbly request a hand heart from your person. It would fill me with great joy.
A hand heart. Oh, hearts to you and hearts to you all. Yeah. You can see the giant tear in my glove. Oh, big old hearts. Yeah. Yeah, also magnets. Magnets! Yeah. Magnets! Oh. Magnets! Hey, magnets, 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 baby. No, stop falling down. Stop falling down, magnets. I had a tower of magnets. It keeps wanting to fall over. Magnets. See what I mean? Fun fact that he partook in the fall of Cadia with Angrax and Archimatoes. Archtomatoes! Magnets didn't do anything wrong. It did. Okay, pleased with his servant, Abaddon the Despoiler bestowed upon him a great honour, the title of Herald of the Apocalypse. Handcam has taken to this title and position with great pride, and has become a loyal follower of his dark patron. Alongside his new name, Handcam was gifted ferocious hell spears, a demon-touched close combat weapon that is filled with vile chaotic power. Oh, and that's his data sheet. He's a pretty tough cookie. He's toughness. Well, he's not that tough. He's got 5 wounds, toughness 4, 12-inch movement, but really his strength comes in with that hell spear. Oh, it only gives him 1 extra attack. I thought it gave him more for some reason. But it has lance, so it gives him +1 to wound when he charged. Oh yeah, it gets D3 sustained hits. Strength 8, AP -3, damage 3. Hits on 2s. And yeah, he's got Talon as well for 6 attack, strength 5, AP -2, damage 2. Have a house spear as a ranged attack, which is, again is just as powerful. And he can move around quickly. Put him in a unit of archers, and this is like a thing where you meant to throw it there and be like, oh, take pictures with your model on this. I forgot to glue this though. I've just been told CAX might take up to 14 days to process my return. I'm like, what? Okay, then
Demonic
let's look.
stabby stick. Wait till Eel comes at him with a spear of twilight. Their battle will be legendary.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna convert him into just like a Night Lord boss. Not sure how yet. I think I'm just gonna buy the current map to sort that out. And obviously replace this big old head with a Night Lord head. Oh, he has what looks like a Primaris head there. Yeah, just looks like a Primaris. Oh, the Primaris head is for the body here. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I'll probably replace one of these shoulder pads at the very least. Probably won't put all those trophies on his back. Just to try and like differentiate him a bit more. You know, that's just not... I'll use Heartcon stats for him, but it's not meant to be Heartcon. It's meant to be someone, you know, who hits around as hard as Heartcon though. And remained a Night Lord and didn't become Black Legion. Because Black Legion sucks. He looks kind of small based on this though. Like the Space Marine, maybe it's quite an old model. Like the Space Marine on his base. Yeah, he's definitely a bit small. Maybe he's a no, he's not a Phobos. Maybe. No, it's not.
Better not let Lieutenant Titus see the title of this stream.
Ork Lore is the best lore. What do you mean? He obviously agrees. Like, you know, orcs do have some pretty good lore. I was saved by an orc once. It was pretty fun. You know, he used to be a captain once. And then... Leandros happened. Okay, we got Dakar jets. And honestly, it's a kind of boring sprue. I think for all push fit models, I'm not sure, but I feel like these are the exact same ones that came in Blackreach. They might not be the same ones. It might be an improvement. I think actually maybe they are a bit larger than the Blackreach ones. But yeah, for just push fit models, you can't change out what guns they have. At least this one you don't need to use a fly. Oh, at least they don't have flying bases. I remember the Blackreach ones had flying bases.
Leandros mentioned, stream disliked straight back into the wall.
No, don't dislike it. We're saying Leandros is bad. In Tacticus, Hurricane is a rapid assault raptor that gets stronger the more he kills, along with an active that forces all units within 2 hexes of the target trigger their battle fatigue. Oh, that's cool. Hello, Elma. You come back. Yeah. I missed you too, but hello, Elma. Welcome to the stream. We're currently looking at some death copters. Wait a minute. Let me check this. It shouldn't have changed it. I feel like the capture device of video settings have been... No, the video settings are normal. Okay. There we go. Yeah, maybe these things are newer. I think these things do look thicker plastic. Because I remember the Assault on Blackreach ones, they broke to pieces so easily. Like, these things catch everything due to the spikes and they'll snap off sooner or later. Or maybe they're not, because I do remember them, like, breaking off that thing. Hate Elibus. All your homies hate Leandros. All about Scaevola. Scaevola's the best. Yeah, he's the best Warhammer video game. She is, sorry. The best Warhammer video game character. I need to turn that light off so we don't blind you guys when it turns onto the lighter pages. Okay, let's move some stuff around. There we go. Oh gosh, my headphone cord is all messed up right now. It's all tangled up and sharp. There we go. All about that battle fatigue. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google when these death copters came out. Death copters releases. Okay, yeah, they have changed them. Yeah, the old death copters were a bit smaller, I think. Salt on Blackreach. Images. Okay, yeah, for old death copters on flying stands. There we go, yeah. They're very similar to the current ones, but they're a bit shorter. Okay. Yeah. But let's look. Death copters, how to build them. We don't need to know that. They've barely got any pieces. Okay, this is painting your Havoc Marines and stuff. Painting some orcs now with some of the newer colours. Death copters. Oh look, work in progress. We changed our war boss massively into a big mech in mega armour instead. I'm not going to paint from those colours. That's going to be Death Skull colours. Oh, but it's just Chaos Space Marine Combat Patrol rules. Enhancements, secondary objectives. Oh, that's sad. No law in this one, but it's kind of the expected thing. Maybe we'll get law in this one. That one was just building and painting for lots of things. Madame, tell you something. Let me solo her is the legend. Wait a minute. Oh, this is the wrong one. Okay, another combat patrol. You've said hi to everybody. Hi, Saradwin. How you doing? Wait, did I say hi to you, TA? Hello, TA. Hello to all of you that's coming. Big hearts to you. Okay, there's the death copters. And here we go. Big old fan on the back. Oh, custom Mega Blaster on this guy. Little head. Bombays. And then 3 bases. Oh, for our slot bases, I never even realised that. Yeah, they still feel like quite old models, to be honest. The fact of a push fit is not fun. It would be nice if they weren't push fit so that you could actually swap what items each of them has. Like, maybe you want big shooters on them, maybe you don't. Look up Let Me Solo Her. By the way, everyone, don't forget to like the stream.
Oh,
it's an Elden Ring
that was
guy.
an orc sniper with a purple camo cloak with a bird nest on it.
Wait, how did you see the camo cloak? Purple is invisible. You can't see a purple orc. You forgot. You forgot. You can't forget to like the stream. But how did you see the sniper? It's got a purple camo cloak on. You saw nothing. And yeah, I do know Let Me Solo Her. It's the Elden Ring guy. How to paint your death copters. Oh, no, look at all the no it's telling you to do. Ah, Negrex of Shade. The greatest colours. Oh, here we go. Cunning but brutal. There's a mech. We made our own mech. Oh, look, there's a mech workshop. Ah, that's so cool looking. You think that's an official model? Our mech hurries to complete his latest contraption before the enemy arrives. Oh. Orcs are famous of a deadly cunning, as they are as famous of a deadly cunning as they are for the brutality. When these two parts of Orcish nature are joined, they become an unstoppable foe. Yeah, Force, don't forget orcs might look silly, but orcs are brutally cunning and cunningly brutal. They know tactics. They know how to fight. We lost Smilex. I can't see him. You painted yourself. Who are you talking about? John Cena? John Cena? Is that who? You can hear him, but you can't see him. John Cena? Of course you can hear him. John Cena's the loudest guy to ever live. Yeah. All orcs possess both cunning and brutality. Those who lean more towards cunning are no less dangerous for it. And they simply use their cunning to find more opportunities to be brutal. Ah, big old hat. Thanks for the hat. He's in the walls. He's in the gosh darn walls. And they simply, those who lean more towards cunning are no less dangerous for it, and they simply use their cunning to find more opportunities to be brutal. Some choose to use their cunning directly on the battlefield, employing sneaky maneuvers and furtive ploys. Others will employ their gift for ingenious nastiness by creating and maintaining new horrors to deploy against their enemies. These cunning efforts can be varied as psychic meddling, mechanical intervention, or biological experimentation. When allied with more brutal cousins, they make a well-rounded force that presents a serious danger to anyone in the way. Some orcs are cunningly brutal, others are brutally cunning, just like Gork and Mark. It's true. It's true! Whichever way round it's meant to be. Crafty mech gubbins! Yeah, I like that model. It's a super cool model. Oh. But some orcs are driven by a powerful urge. to devise bizarre contraptions and to tinker with their armies, technological items. These orcs are called mechs, and their madcap inventions unpredictable and absurd, but reliably deadly. Whether they pose the most danger to their enemies or for orcs themselves is not always certain. I just butchered that sentence, thank you. Hi Trey, how you doing? And blue is lucky. Yeah, blue is the best colour. Oh, well, green is the best colour, but you know, I Hello Tony, how you doing? I'm also just moving chat because I remembered there's meant to be chat here. There we go. Live chat. Reload that. Yeah. Takes off per. Oh, hi, Dr. Smilex. I thought you left. Welcome back, Dr. Smilex. You're calling for Orc Busters. No. Orc Busters. Arc-busters. Pull the lever and fire up the mega blaster. Yeah, I like Death Skulls. Death Skulls are like my favourite faction of orcs. So that's what we build. And we got to build lots of looters. Yeah. And I plan to, like, once I get some mech guns, I plan to use the spare parts to convert up a couple of looted guard vehicles. Like 2 chimeras would be fused together and turned into, like, it's 2 old chimeras I've got, and turned into a battle wagon, and the other one would just be a truck. But some orcs like to get as near to their enemy as possible before unleashing a torrent of violence at close quarters. These sneaky specialists are called commandos. They use their guile and ingenuity to get within stabbing distance, where they can enjoy disassembling the foes up close. Oh, what? Mad Docs, it's a pain boy! Some orcs take an unsettling interest in the biology of their fellow orcs. These inquisitive scientists are called docs. They can usually be found standing in a puddle of their patient's blood, repairing battle damage or attempting improvements. Oh. There's a cola stealing thief. Get him! Your disappearing of a code disappearing is sus. Timing Smilex. The cola. Don't let him take the cola. I'm running out. Duty calls me. Have a nice dream. Bye, Clemoniac. Good luck with whatever you're going to be doing. Melee weapons. Bang, bang, no. Oh, look, that thing. What is he shooting? Oh, they're shooting orcs. Oh, no, they're shooting orcs. The Imperial Fist, so I can't be too mad. Because they're like the bigger brothers of a Black Templar. Although Black Templar at this point are kind of like a bigger brothers to Imperial Fists. Since the Imperial Fist chapter basically got completely destroyed and the Black Templars almost entirely fixed them up. Across the battlefields of the far future, armies depending on their infantry just as surely as they rely on armoured vehicles or artillery. Once battle is joined, it is only a matter of time before the opposing forces close in on each other, and when action moves to close quarters, the enemy is often only a few steps away. Amid the din of war, the sound of close combat echoes on every battlefield. The revving of vehicles is answered by the revving of chainswords. Battles screech. Blades screech as they are dragged across armour. The crackle of power weapons fills the air, and the dull thuds of clubs and hammers sound out over the cacophony. Before troops run headlong into each other, explosions roar as grenades detonate in the crush of combatants' bodies, and breaching charges blast apart obstacles. Oh, plasma is the only valid option. Overcharge, of course. I do have a plasma detachment I want to build. Like, once I've got more money again, that might be the next detachment to focus on. Currently, because of the Indomitus box and the current combat patrols, I'm mostly focused on a mixture of my heavy, my siege, and my defense forces. Also, with Land Raiders having a serious point reduction recently, I've decided I'm probably going to get a couple of Land Raiders on my siege force. Actually, would it be from a siege force? Yeah, for the siege force. That also means my assault intercessors are instead going to be built as shooty intercessors. Flamers is toasty. Flamers are also really fun. Fire blasters, the bestest. Chainsword bolt pistol will always be my go-to arsenal. Very good choice, especially for Black Templar. Also, it's just a really nice, you know, solid combo. I kind of miss when there was a reason to take chainswords over other weapons. Because right now there's not enough reason to. Like, it feels like you should get at least an extra 2 attacks for a chainsword to be worth taking over a power weapon. And a power weapon needs like 2 or 3 extra attacks to take it over a power fist. Like, a power fist might, if a power fist has 3 attacks, a power weapon should have 6 if it's you're gonna choose it over the power fist. A chainsword should have like 10 attacks if you're gonna choose it over the power sword. So if you've got a power fist that's 5 attacks, your power sword should be like at 9 or 10. And your chainsword should be at like 12 to some 18 or something stupid. Alternatively, you just need something like chainswords get sustained hits, power weapons get lethal hits. Oh. Alright, everybody. Everything is good for weaponry. Yuck. I'll do one better smile exterminatus from orbit. That's not really a melee weapon. I mean, maybe it is. Although all armies rely on close combat weapons, their construction and effectiveness varies wildly. The warriors of some factions wield little... So, I'm distracted. I'll move a magnets. The warriors of some factions wield little more than primitive cudgels, while others carry weapons of arcane power or technological brilliance. Explosives are no less diverse, and armies carry everything from basic fuse-ignited blasting charges to advanced munitions that erupt into lethal conflagrations of plasma or worse. Chainsword with that many attacks sounds insane. 12 per model is at least 60 attacks of... No, I mean it's like... So, a sergeant of a squad, right, might have a power fist, a power sword, or a chainsword. A normal squad would be armed with chainswords, right? But then, like, you'd have a sergeant's chainsword, which should have different stats. Like, it should get more attacks. A power weapon should get less attacks, but be stronger. And a power fist should get even less attacks, but be even stronger. So that way, you can choose... If you don't... That way, if you want to go for a chainsword, you don't feel like you're missing out instead of taking a power fist, because all of them you pay the same price for. So it's less that you're going to take 5 guys with chainswords. But so a sergeant would normally get only 3 power fist attacks. But they could instead take a power sword, which could give them 5 or 6 attacks.
Everything is a melee weapon if you're brave enough.
While they could, instead of taking a power weapon, take a chainsword for 8 to 10 attacks. Instead, what you see is you can take a power fist for 3 attacks, a power sword for 4 attacks, or a chainsword for 4 attacks. So a chainsword is just straight up worse than a power sword. And a power sword, yeah, it gets an extra attack, but that's not really worth it over the extra firepower that a fist gives you. A thunderhammer gets devastating wounds, but -1 to hit. So arguably it's sometimes better, but power fist is probably better of a +1 to hit. So it's like, but then you got like captains who get 5 power fist attacks, or you can take a power sword for 6 attacks, or a chainsword for 7 attacks. And it's like, in those instances, you'd mostly just take a power fist. There is a reason to take a mastercrafted power sword, as all you lose is 3 strength. And you can potentially make up for that strength with enhancements and stuff. So, or just like put him in a squad with a lieutenant kind of thing. But to make it like even without giving any of the weapons special rules or changing the hit ratio, to make up to be equivalent of 5 power fist attacks for a chainsword, you need like 15 chainsword attacks. Well, that would just be for a captain, because a captain is so powerful anyway. And 15 chainsword attacks kind of does work for a captain. But still, it's a bit over top, so you need something to do it. I mean, a relic chainsword you can easily give damage to, and it wouldn't feel weird. If you give it damage to, and then sustained hits, you could easily put it down to 8 or 9 attacks, and it would still be worthwhile to take over a power fist. Then you go for 7 attacks on your mastercrafted power sword, and give it lethal hits or something. And that way, each of them are like more even to one another. It feels worth it. But at the moment, it just feels worth it just to go for the power fist every single time. With some exceptions, being a power sword might be more useful. So, what if I made a Cupcon meme about me asking Cupcon when she makes Stickman drawing stream? I don't know when we'll do it. I'm sorry. I got so much other stuff to do. Basic melee weapons. Even with the technology available in the 41st millennium, it still fails to... it still falls to infantry to take and hold ground. Lots of fighting happens in the arm's reach of a foe, and every soldier will possess a simple hand weapon. Lots of fighting happens within arm reaches of a foe, and every soldier will possess a simple hand weapon, even if it's their own gun, in preparation for close combat. Genestealer cults bioweapons. So they've got a sword that looks like it's made from bone and some sort of living whip. Death Corps a Krieg with a trench club. Everyone goes on about the shuffles, except in almost all of the animation and the game are armed with clubs. And then Death Guard with a plasma axe. A plasma axe looks more like a power axe rather than a plasma axe. She gives us stream after I stop stealing and drinking a cola. Stop stealing my cola, I'm running out. Heavy melee weapons. Death Squad Power Scythe. Astra Militarium. Heavy Maul. That's a heavy maul. That's a scythe. We love those scythes. We built one of those guys. Well, actually, we built 3 of them. Although 2 of them were for a normal Terminator squad, and 1 of them was converted into a Lord, a sorcerer in Terminator
Mark
armor.
1 entrenching tool is the best melee weapon.
No, best melee weapon is a scythe. Elite troops and close combat specialists will often carry especially powerful melee weapons into battle. Some of these weapons are terrifying technology to melt through ceramite and slice into steel. Others simply possess enough size and weight to crush armor and knock powerful enemies clean off their foot. I think the Hefty Maul, though, does have like... It looks like it's got some technology there to do like shocking stuff or whatever. Explosives and grenades. Reach for walls. Take the fight to the heretics. Yeah. Space Marine smoke grenade. League of Photon graphic concussion grenade. Aldari plasma grenade. Ork bomb squig. I like how for bomb squig, it like everyone else gets like a proper grenade. They might have just like a boat of grenades on this guy. But no, this guy, the orcs just go, is a squig strapped with explosives. And what you don't know is the squig itself is also explosive. There's also a place for hand-deployed explosives and grenades on the battlefields of the far future. These range from simple fragmentation grenades designed to root out troops in cover to larger charges that can be deployed against heavily armoured vehicles or even against bunkers and buildings. Am I a heretic? Probably yes. You keep stealing my cola and talking about elf areas and trench crows and demon engines. We have 3 grenades and a Soviet Union anti-tank dog. Now that's more crazy than an anti-tank dog. Oh look, Silver Templars versus Orcs. Oh! Although surrounded, the brothers prove more than a match for a horde of Orcs. Oh, that's the, what's it called? The Incursor. Graphics armor jetpack with bolt pistol things. Stormbolty stuff. Okay. So, if you remember, in this Bonds of Honor, previously on Bonds of Honor, we followed Sergeant Ascatarian, or whatever his name is, into a Tyranid invasion where on his way in, he dropped his rifle onto the cities and ruins below.
Hate to do it, but I got to leave now. Apologies, I only stuck around for a small time. Bye chat, bye Cupcake, have a good stream.
Bye bye Clockwork. Love heart to you. It was nice of you to come in. And thanks for popping in and staying as long as you did. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Yeah. Or maybe I'm between heresy and loyalty. If there's no such thing, even a loyalist or a heretic. There's no like middle ground here. The only way to be not quite a heretic, like even if you don't follow chaos, it doesn't mean you're not a heretic. Like a lot of the Chaos Space Marines aren't actually like truly aligned with the Chaos Forces and fight Chaos, probably fight for other Chaos Space Marines more than they even fight the Imperium, but they're still anti the Imperium, making them heretics. The only potential exceptions are the edges of the Imperium, where rogue traders ruling planets and stuff have to bend the rules a little bit to survive. But that is allowed by the Imperium, and the rogue traders have special stamps and effectively legislation allowing them to do that stuff. And sometimes they go a bit further than that, in which case you do become a heretic. Love hearts! Yeah! But if you remember, Sergeant Ascatarian, who was attacking a Tyranid world, lost his rifle. He beat up some Tyranids with the rest of his squad. And with a combat knife, he drew the Tyranid Warrior Prime and beat it. Then they went into a tunnel of fleshy places where they got attacked by Tyranids again and saved by Furnace Squad. After they beat the Tyranids on this world, or at least after the Silver Templars had done their job, Sergeant Ascatarian went back to search for his rifle, found it was probably already taken, and found a scrap trader's ship or whatever, attacked it, defeated those on board who were like heretics. Then they got attacked by some Elder Corsairs, they beat the Elder Corsairs, and then realised that they accidentally turned up in the middle of a space battle between Eldar and Chaos. One of the Chaos ships attacked them. They managed to kind of defeat the Chaos ship, but both of them got badly damaged and they crash landed onto another world. The Chaos ship got torn apart as it was re-entering, but the Thunderhawk or the Stormraven, whatever they were on, of the Ascatarians managed to hold together because it wasn't as badly damaged. And they managed to kind of land it, although it's still not going to be able to fly again. Then they went to search what happened to the Chaos Space Marines and make sure they were gone. Found basically was literally even left of a wreck. It was just scattered pieces everywhere. But they realised that there were orcs in the area, so they hid away from the orcs and went to find the orc camp to like get rid of it before the orcs could realise that they're still around. But then they were attacked by commandos just as they were planning to attack the... Or they spotted some commandos just as they were about to ambush the orcs in their camp. And the commandos set off the alarm. So yeah, orc commandos are like stealthy orcs, by the way. Oh yeah, and during all of this, the story is being told to a group of neophytes, or like very early neophytes, who were just about to join the Silver Templar. They climbed up a mountain to where the chapter keep is. And hello, Nanofate. How you doing? And they've had some sleep where they slept. They're not very well taken care of, these neophytes. They're like 10-year-olds who are forced to climb up a mountain. They're forced to eat bread without a drink, like bread that was described as like a stone and torturous to eat. Oh no, they did have a little bit of water. Apparently this mountaintop is extraordinarily cold as well and freezing weather, and they're basically put into a stone room that had a little window to the outside. Well, it was like an open window, like, you know, bars and stuff, like a prison. So it was freezing in there, and they had to sleep in that room. Yeah, sounds pretty terrible. It sounds just like when I was in, what's it called? Sounds just like real life. Have you ever had this happen to you? Doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award again. But do not dawdle, young ones. There is precious little time to show you about. Hurry, hurry. This here is a oh no, it's like scouts. Oh. I did scouts and I also did Go Guides. Go Guides was much nicer. Like, you got to be in a nice warm building. You got to eat sweets. You got to play rounders. Oh, it's very nice. Scouts wasn't nice. It was always camping this, camping that. Go into this frozen lake. Oh. Go into a frozen lake and kayak. You know, this river, we got to walk through the river. Oh, gosh. From here, you can get between then the RAF. That wasn't fun either. But do not dawdle, young ones. Yeah, don't forget, like, for Space Marines, if they get indoctrinated for, like, literally 10, 11 years old. So, when he's doing all this stuff to the kids, they're literally just kids. It's, like, so mean. He's such a meanie cake. Anyway, everyone, what would I be a Chaos God if you was one? I don't know. The Chaos God of stealing my cola? There's precious little time to show you about. Hurry, hurry. This here is the main thoroughfare that runs through Colossus. Oh yeah, Colossus is like their home mode. From here you can get between all the parts of Fortress Monastery. The path we have just taken leads to the dormitories. Over there is the route to the armory, where you will meet your weapons, and in time you may forge your own. Oh yeah, that's one of the things about the Silver Templar. They forge their own weapons and form a bond with them. A bit like salamanders do. Over there is the Apothecarian, where you shall be forged yourself until you stand shoulder to shoulder with your new battle brothers. And they shall be your brothers in blood and flesh, not in name alone. You see, we all share the genetic gifts of our forebearers. It is a blessing that is a gift that is given to all who join us, and it will be given to you. The procedure is arduous, but it is part of a great remaking, and so does the new salamanders. Yeah, these guys are an Ultramarine successor chapter. They're pretty cool. And if you're wondering why there's so many Ultramarine successor chapters, I think 1 in 4 successor chapters are Ultramarines. Like Ultramarine successors. Partly because the Ultramarines are the most, the least damaged by the entire, you know, Horus Heresy. And the most willing to split the Legion up. Your survival is not guaranteed, and indeed it is not expected. But all who start the process will finish it. However, each implant will make you stronger, and as you progress through the transformation, you will increase your odds of completion. Of these organs, one will sharpen your eyesight, another your hearing. One will thicken your blood so that when you are wounded in battle, you will not bleed out inside your armor. One will strengthen your bones and another your muscles, and so on. Anyway, that takes me back to what I was saying. Imagine how Sergeant Ascarian and his men felt as they stood surrounded by orcs. The surprising thing about orcs is how they can, from time to time...
If you're wondering why there are 86 bajillion Smurf successors, Blue Boys are the poster children.
Yeah, the Lord, don't turn me into a cat. What did you do to me? Yeah, I mean, for the lore reason, it's because basically when the Horus Heresy went down, the Ultramarines were cut off in the Ultramar sector and unaware that Terra and stuff was still around and they were being attacked by the Word Bearers. But the Word Bearers and their allies, their ambush kind of failed and they got absolutely annihilated. And the Ultramarines had their little Ultramar sector, right? Which they then basically turned into the new Imperium. Because they thought, like, the rest of the Imperium had fallen and been destroyed. And so Guilliman repaired and replenished his legion, ready to basically form a crusade against the Chaos forces, only to find out Terra still stood. The rest of the legions, especially the Imperial Fists, were on Terra. The Raven Guard, I think, also got ambushed. Oh yeah, and then you had the Istefan drop site, where the Salamanders got absolutely decimated. Not long before the Horus Heresy, the Dark Angels had been decimated in a horrific war against the Xenos Empire. And the Raven Guard, were they also at Istefan 5? I think they got badly damaged. And they also suffered a few casualties before then as well. Just in the campaigns. When the heresy went down, they had the plot armor gifted up by their spiritual liege. Yeah. Hello, Night Parade! The Ultramarines were also the biggest legion at the start of the heresy. They lost a lot at Caliph, but were still big. Yeah. What else is there? Other legions had suffered a lot of casualties and weren't replenishing from their season. I think for Ultramarines, I don't think they started as the biggest. I mean, they were at the start for Heresy, they were, but it's partly because Ultramar sector, where they did most of their recruiting, was just so wealthy and had flourished so heavily under Guilliman before the Emperor even came along there. But they basically just had this perfect recruiting ground and could just keep their legion replenished a lot better than anyone else could. But Istvan 5 also kind of went, as much as it hurt the loyalists, it did not go as well as the Chaos Legions wanted, and they suffered way more casualties than they expected, especially as they fired at one another as well as the enemy. So yeah, a lot of Chaos's early plans really smashed them up. The Imperial Fists were a surprisingly large legion. Like, they had pretty decent numbers at the start of the heresy, and even though that they were taking like the brunt of a lot of the battles, especially the Siege of Terror, they managed to survive it pretty well. And it's partly just because of how disorganized Chaos was in general, and how prideful and they were, and how much they kind of just hit one another as much as they did the enemies. But either way, by the end, then Rogel Dawn effectively threw the entire legion into
Stop eating our allies, said the word bearer. Lol, said the Iron Warrior, Lemao.
Yeah, Lemao! Horus complains in one of her first Horus Heresy novels that the legion has so many honors because there are so many of them. Yeah. Horus. Horus! You saw I look awfully lot like Horus. Cuptle. But what else did they do? Big head. Hi. What else did they do? I can't remember. Oh yeah, Horus was always like extremely aggressive in his campaigns, because he was a war master and he wanted to push very far and prove his worth and stuff. He kind of just turned. A lot of the campaigns saw the Legion, saw his legion the Lunar Wolves get really torn down. Especially as he entered some really stupid wars that he didn't need to enter into. And other wars he could have won a lot easier, but he just chose to do these stupid tactics. That's because of what he's like. But Iron Warriors did something similar, where they were always deployed to these horrible attrition-based warfare. And for Iron Warriors, when it comes to attrition... I mean, I know they're called siege experts and stuff, but I do feel that they have an awful habit of choosing to attrition themselves way more than they have to. Like, if you look at how the Imperial Fist did sieges compared to the... Not for Iron Warriors. Wait, is it for Iron Warriors the Chaos ones, or is it for other ones who are Chaos? I can't remember. The Chaos ones. Perturbabo's Legion. Yeah, they had a horrible... But then Rogel Dawn basically went into a war battle against the Iron Dudes. And... Oh yeah, Iron Warriors are the Chaos ones. It's Iron Hands who are the Loyalist ones. Yeah. We went into this massive trap, knowing it was a trap, knowing his legion could potentially die in the trap, but somehow the legion did survive and managed to win. But yeah, he basically just wanted to destroy everything, mostly his own legion and himself. So yeah, they suffered a lot of casualties there. And the Salamanders and the Imperial Fists... and their successors suffered heavily during the War of the Beast, which was basically the Orcs forming the largest war ever and attacking Terror. Vulcan died like twice in there. Horus misused the Raven Guard a lot during the Great Crusade. Before they found Corvus, used them as frontline troops rather than stealth. Oof. Rest in peace, Ripperoni Talon. There was a third in Paradise World, then Perturbo for an entire Legio, whose game plan is Warlords and more Warlords. Now it's a desert planet. A desert planet that destroyed the Iron Legion, the Iron Warriors at one point, didn't it? But yeah, by the end of the War of the Beast, the Horus Heresy, and the Great Crusade, the only ones that had come out of it relatively unscarred were the Ultramarines, and that's partly because they just weren't that involved in it. Like, sure, you had Calf and stuff like that, but that was kind of minor compared to what everyone else had to deal with. Like the Drop Site Massacre, the Siege of Terror, the War of the Beast. It was a bit crazy. But yeah, that's a lore region why for Ultramarines, because they're cowards who never got involved in the battle very much. Also because they were generally much better at, you know, the bureaucracy and management of planets than everyone else. Which meant that their recruiting worlds were generally wealthier and better off. Which made it a lot easier to recruit and replenish their forces, their weapons and their armor. The Dark Angels, though, did have some of that going on. Most of the Chaos Legions didn't too much. And I'm not sure about the Imperial Fists. The Imperial Fists seemed to just keep going into blenders, but seemed to just continually have more than enough numbers to go into the next blender with. It's really weird. Like, I think the Imperial Fists have the second most successor chapters as well. And their successor chapters are also really famous. Because you got the Crimson Fists and the Black Templars. Or is it for Blood Angels and then the Imperial Fists? It's one or the other. But yeah, the Imperial Fist chapter at one point got completely destroyed. And they had to replenish it using Black Templars and Crimson Fists and stuff. So it was weird. But yeah, the surprising thing about orcs is how they can from time to time be guileful and full of artifice. In truth, the brothers were surprised for a moment, but once the trap had been strung, there was no hiding the magnitude of their task from them, their heightened senses and the displays in their helmets combined to leave them with no uncertainty over what they faced. Where a normal soldier might have dared to hope that the next wave of orcs they slew would be the final one, Sergeant Askerton and his brothers did not have the luxury of such ignorance. At first the orc skirmishers came, arriving without warning of the brothers' miss, catching them unawares. Once they had been dispatched, their less subtle comrades came in wave upon wave. There was no order to them. Where some armies might have the gunners together, the shock troops together, and the brawlers together, there was no such structure for orcs. All at once came little ones and big ones. Some were armed with clanking guns, some with rockets, some with crude bats and clubs. All mixed in together and throwing themselves at the brothers with glee. Mectra saw, partly to his revulsions. Oh yeah, the story is mostly told by this character who's telling the story, but through Mectra's eyes. I feel like the statements of Rylanar and Fem Bomb weren't meant to be linked, but here we are. Oh gosh. No sooner had Megatras dispatched. Oh yeah, Megatras saw, partly to his revolutions and partly to his amusements, that one of them had picked up a smaller comrade and was trying to use it as a club. No sooner had Megatras dispatched the aggressor than its former weapon had picked itself up from the floor and with no sense of gratitude whatsoever hurled itself at him, clawing and biting until it too was shot. But amid the chaos, a great rattling noise started up. It was the sound of those flying machines that the brother had ventured here to destroy. The brothers had. Well, if any of them thought they still had a chance of catching them on the ground, their hopes were dashed in an instant. First came the noise, then the plumes of black smoke, then the things bobbed into view and made straight for them, firing their ramshackle assortment of guns. The rounds ricocheted off the Battle Brothers' armour. Okay, these Deathcopters had big shooters. Our Deathcopters can't have big shooters. They've only got rocket launchers and custom mega blasters because they're push-fit models with no weapon options. You have to get what you're given, and to change it's very difficult because of the way it's designed. The round ricocheted off a Battle Brothers' armour, and let me tell you, it makes quite the racket inside those helmets. It sounds as though your head is in a metal pot, while some prankster beats upon it with a spoon.
Fulgrim. Woe, virus bomb be upon ye. Relana, ancient of rites, giga of chads.
Oh yeah, Rylanor. That's the Dreadnought, isn't it, that wanted to kill Fulgrim? Emperor's Children Dreadnought. I mean, this custom Mega Blaster could be changed out pretty easily. You could cut it along there. I say pretty easily. This, the way it juts out there, isn't very good. And here it's the same. I bet he could replace it with a gun from another kit. These missiles, though, would be harder because of how it fuses there with the part it's meant to go into there. While these ones wouldn't be the worst, but because of the slow curve you've got going on there, you'll probably have to use a crafting knife, and you have to do it on both. So it'd be a bit of an annoying thing to have to do. Thankfully, orcs, I mean, everything about them's crude, so a bit of a crude messing and changing of the weapons will feel fitting to them. Lord Rylanor up and seeing Fulgrim again, round 2. Aren't the Space Marine helmets meant to have all sorts of things to protect you from the sound? And like, they absorbs vibrations. So vibrations shouldn't be reaching you that easily, even from weapon fire hitting you. Pretty sure. Our armour is some of the best, but still has its weak spots, and so each of our brothers wondered whether the next round that hit them would be the one to find its way between their armour plates and spill their blood. But before they could get interested in the possibility of being shredded by flying orcs, the sensors picked up something new incoming. The brothers drew in tight together, unsure of what this new threat could be. But orcs, after all, are highly unpredictable. There's no telling if the next wave will contain bio-augmented monsters in some approximation of power armour, or little green things in rags holding heavy clubs. The brothers braced for the worst and aimed for flying machines with a desperate hope of downing them before having to face this new threat. But try as they might, they could not fail them. Then all of a sudden blasts of plasma went up from behind the massive orcs, striking 2 of their craft and causing them to tumble from the sky. The third veered away and sharply dipped out of sight, but the orcs and the ruckus did not falter, but their numbers were now dwindling. The brothers meanwhile were torn between hope and despair, for plasma could not have been from orcish weapons. So who were these mysterious combatants who had appeared on the battlefield? And were they friends or foe? Only a few orcs stood between the brothers and the answer, and as they blasted the last of them away, they braced themselves to find out. This sounds like Imperial propaganda. I mean, okay, a Space Marine sergeant trying to fight a Tyranid warrior prime with just a knife, combat knife, was a bit crazy, but it was semi-believable. even with the fact he won. Infernus Marines burning away a horde of Tyranids. Oh, that's just fair enough. Have a fight before that, fair enough. A horde of Gaunts will struggle to fell even one Space Marine in a squad, especially if Infernus come to save the day. Then you had the fight against the Corsairs, and that seemed a bit like, you know, you should at least be struggling here. Corsairs aren't going to attack a ship without any, you know, special weaponry. And they are extremely fast and extremely strong, and usually very well equipped. But they managed to anyway. And then their little Thunderhawk of Stormraven or whatever managed to fight a Chaos Vessel. It's like, okay, maybe it was the same sort of size, you could do it. And now they just fought against a horde of orcs, and the orcs were described as having completely no strategy, no thought, or anything like that. That's like, yeah, okay, this is just... It is getting a bit much now. I think he's embellishing quite a bit, is our storyteller. But look! Dakka Jets. Or Dakkacopters. Deathcopters. And the next one, we already saw it. It is the Death Dread. I'm thinking maybe it's a Photon who saved them. Because it's going to be for Photon next in one of these books. Magazines. But here we go. Now here is a good sprue. This is of a Death Dread. Lots of spare bits, lots of options. Oh, so cool. Like, look at that. You got a cool little banner you can have. You've got big shooters. You've got custom mega blasters. 2 of them. 2 big shooters. You got these exhaust parts of the back. Okay, you'll be back. Bye, Dr. Smilex. I need a bigger Orcopter that holds a Gorkonauts and Morgonauts. I can't remember which has it, but the Gatling guns made out of other Gatling guns. Those could be cool things. It could be fun to see like bigger transport helicopters. Oh yeah, and big old rocket launchers, big old claw. Oh, and another big old claw there. Arm pieces, back pieces. Oh, more exhaust pieces, foot piece. Very nice sprue. It could have been the Sons of Antius chapter. They are one of the 21st Cust founding chapters. They often appear and rescue people and disappear like that. Or the Legion of the Damned. Or the... Oh, you mean... Oh, it could be them. I don't know, because most of the stories so far has seemed to be introducing each of the different races on this. So it started with Space Marines versus Tyranids, because the first thing we got in Combat Patrol was Space Marines and Tyranids. Then we got Eldar, and it gave us the Eldar Corsairs. Then we got the Chaos Space Marines, and it gave us the Chaos Space Marines we fought. Then we got Orcs, and it gave us the Orcs that we fought. So maybe it could be others. I think if it is going to be other Space Marines saving them, could be another chapter. But I think it'll most likely be other Silver Templars, because the only time we've seen them really have another Space Marine save them, or not, like someone save them so far, it was the Infernus Marines when they were fighting for Tyranids. But I'm only guessing, so I could be very much wrong there. But the Photon are the next ones, because the next magazine, we get a Carl in there. And they have a lot of plasma weapons. Not for Legion. These are big Marines that seem to be like Loyalist Death Guard stock. Oh, that sounds cool. I do like the loyalists from, do you know, the stock of the Chaos Space Marines. Oh, yeah. And you got lots of different faces and stuff you can give this. I think. Did we see the faces here? Oh, yeah, like there's a Death Juddy face. The typical one. But I think there's a couple of other options as well. So we'll see from here. I think from the other spoo. Anatomy of an Ork. Okay, it's biology class. Oh, I remember reading Anatomy of an Ork in the older codexes. Pretty interesting. The brain is one of the smaller organs, the mass of the head being largely composed of bone. Look at that. So weird. And it's such a weird looking brain. It does look a bit like fungusy stuff though, doesn't it, for brain? The head contains one brain, 2 eyes, and more teeth than the investigators are comfortable with. Although repulsive, the specimen appears well designed to be formidable in combat. Yeah, they got no bits because they got no gender. Orcs are strange species that are poorly understood but widely feared. Some Imperial scholars speculate that some Imperial scholars speculate that they may have originally been designed and created specifically for war, whereas others maintain that they are simply a naturally occurring breed of sentient fungus. Whether the truth, they are uniquely dangerous foe. Sorry, give me a moment. There we go. Orcs are heavy-set, strong and toothy. Among their enemies, they have a reputation as a fearsome warrior species with an unmatched capacity for brutality, and bodies perfectly adapted for war. They are huge, hulking beasts, and their size alone makes them a terrifying prospect to face in battle. In addition to their intimidating appearance, the orc size also grants them a physical strength many times greater than most of their enemies possess, which they gleefully use to bring large and powerful weapons to bear in close combat against these weaker species. The capacity to withstand physical damage can seem almost supernatural. Most injuries seem to do little more than annoy them, and even a major amputation will only slow a rampaging orc down. Not only do they heal incredibly quickly and feel little pain, but they are temperamentally well suited to carnage and violence, even when that carnage and violence is being inflicted upon them. The bones are enclosed in a thick sheath of muscle, with a large quantity of blood-carrying vessels surrounding them. Joints possess significant strengths. Oh. Docks and Pain Boys. Oh, we just read about them before. Sometimes an orc gets too injured to protest and then sometimes an orc gets too injured to protest and is dragged off to a surgeon, who is known as a pain boy of a dock. Along with their Gretchen attendants, the dock will gleefully cut their victim, adding bits or taking bits away, just to see what happens. Occasionally, and largely by accident, this can restore the patient to health and strength. I do like that, largely by accident. Back to ready bodies. For orcs, biology gives them significant advantage in battle. Even when gravely wounded, they will fight with full ferocity, appearing completely immune to the physical or psychological effects of any wounds. Their toughness and adaptability also lend themselves well to augmentation, and many orcs go into battle sporting biochemical enhancements and integrated weapons. An orc warrior fends off the advance guard of a Space Wolves army. Look at that. Who do you think will win that fight? With that comment, I feel like it would be for orc in this situation. Like maybe it's about to swing in and just kill the dude or injure him enough that he runs away. Oh, look at this. It's Dark Eldar versus Kroot. And Tau. There's a Tau there. There's a Kroot there. There's a massive Krootox thing there. Versus an Incubi. Honestly, I think in that fight there, the Incubi is going to win quite easily. Like in lore, the Incubi, before it can even bring its arm down, would probably cut straight through that thing, cutting his feet off at the same time, and then bring it back down and lopping off the heads, his head and then his head in one go, before his claw even reaches where the Incubi would have been. That's just how good Incubi are in lore. For basic, like, imagine for Eldar and how they can get so involved in like their martial arts. I've already got the Aspect Warriors, so even like the biggest versions of that. The Incubi are like the Dark Eldar version, but they make even Aspect Warriors feel, you know, like they don't have much of a tism about stuff. Like, they seem so obsessed with being good fighters that it makes the Aspect Warriors go, okay, you need to get a hobby. That's not just learning to fight.
Here we see a Tau in the process of losing badly. Why, you ask? That Fire Warrior is in melee. Yep, pretty screwed.
I mean, he's in melee, but also you got all the Krootox here. In theory, the Incubi should easily be able to kill that one. The Witch might be able to save herself from being killed by a Krootox, but she's in a very precarious position right now. The Warriors here are going to struggle against the likes of Krootoxes. She could beat a single Krootox by herself and its rider. She just needs to be facing it and fighting it. For Warriors only need to keep themselves alive long enough for the Incubi to just turn around. Like, in 2 attacks, he would have definitely killed that thing. And then he could easily turn around and probably kill one of them before it has a chance of attacking her. But the other one would probably still get her. Hi, Mississippi Gonza, and hi, Rahel. Love hearts to you both. And to everyone else here. Yeah. Oh, look, I love that picture. That's an old picture. No soldier ever plans to get shot. But even the most skilled warrior cannot I've seen multiple times where the soldiers in 40k have decided, you know what's going to be a fun time? Getting shot. Especially Space Marines go, you know what? I'm just going to step out here, get shot a bunch, but I'm also going to shoot them a bunch. No soldier ever plans to get shot, but even the most skilled warrior cannot evade their foes' attacks forever. And when that fateful blow lands, only their armour will stand between them and death. And also void shields. Well, not just void shields. Do you know any sort of, you know, shields, protection, other stuff that's not armour? The armour worn of the galaxy's battlefields reflects a varied threat against its wearers. From shot and shrapnel to fire and blade. Fire blades? Oh! The Tau commanders. To survive the deadly battlefields of the 41st millennium, a warrior may put their trust in many things. They may have faith in the genius of their commander's strategies, or in the bonds of comradeship that bind them to their squad mates. In the thick of a firefight or close quarters combat, they may trust in their own skills at arms to vanquish a foe, or even rely on the divine protection of a god. But when all else fails, it is their armour they must depend on to save them from harm. The different species of the of a far future make use of a great variety of protective gear. Even within the same forces, elite warriors and line troops may be outfitted very differently. Armour can be as crude as hunks of scrap metal that orcs clad themselves in, as elegant as the psycho-reactive wraithbone armour of the Eldari, or as sturdy as the power armour worn by the Space Marines and the warriors of the Traitor and Renegade legions. Oh, troop armour. Almost all combatants will wear some sort of armour. Exception right there. Exception right there. Exception right there. I mean, they do wear armour, it's just worthless armour. There's a reason why the Dark Elder always said they called to have latex armour, because it just offers such little protection, but looks like they look like armoured knights. That's how much armour they usually wear, yet it gives them barely any protection. Same with the Guardians, especially like the modern scoops of the Guardians and stuff. Actually, no, wait, do they get 4+ armour saves now? Used to be 5+. Many soldiers wear mass-produced armour suits designed to be cheaply constructed and easily maintained. Simple flak jackets and armour plates save many lives by deflecting shrapnel and stray rounds. Yeah, flak jackets are actually a real-life thing that was used in Vietnam. Predominantly Vietnam is the major conflict you saw them in, Korean War too. And they were designed simply to stop shrapnel. And they look ugly. They kind of look a bit like those old jump jackets or whatever, do you know? Very poofy jackets. They're kind of lightweight. Cadian armour, from the sound of it, is a mixture of modern day ceramic armour. So if you don't know, modern day armour usually has a ceramic plate held by like Kevlar or something, or some other fabric. And they usually have multiple ceramic plates. Although lots of them will just be one ceramic plate in the front of a plate carrier, and then another ceramic plate at the back. But you do get different types. Like you get the segmented ones where you got one, then there's another under it, then another under that one. So it's a bit more laid like they do. That's what they definitely have. Yeah, I've had some other ideas of them, but generally the ones where you get lots and lots of small pieces together, they often have manufacturing issues that get them disqualified, or deal issues with difficulty between the code and various temperatures. Is it not plasteel plate, so springy metal? Plasteel, I don't think these guys have plasteel. The Space Marines do have plasteel and ceramite, I believe they call it. Ceramite is basically like a stronger version of modern ceramic armor. Plasteel is, as it sounds, it's like a plastic alloy metal that's apparently, while kind of relatively soft as metals go, like armored metals go, it acts a bit non-Newtonian fluid kind of dynamic to it, where the harder the force hits it, the stronger it becomes, or the more resistance it puts up with. As far as I'm aware, their armor's not like that. It's basically like modern ceramic plates tied together over a flak jacket, or under a flak jacket, or in some cases they just, from the sound of it, they just have flak jackets in a lot of the fiction. So it might have some like plate carrier on it, it might not. It depends on the guard regiment. Usually the shoulders are made out of something. Maybe they're made out of some sort of lower quality plasteel. Maybe they're made out of something else entirely. Leather, hardened leather. I mean, it could be Crocs leather, that's pretty tough. Much tougher than modern leathers. But you never know. Are we spreading Orc misinformation? No, we're not. Although you did miss the entire thing about how Orcs use tactics. And then there's a story where orcs used tiny bit of tactics and then just like didn't use them at all. It was basically ultramarine propaganda for story. Simple flak. That's basically ultramarine plot armor and just overselling. I just read the book. Many soldiers wear mass-produced simple flak jackets, armor plates, deflecting, but they are neither useless against more advanced and dangerous weapons that can be found on the battlefield. Armor can bear unit markings and other identification symbols. Torso armor protects many of the vital organs from ranged and melee weapons. Simple helmets provide vital protection but reduces healing. I imagine their lower abdomen underneath this armor and underneath these coverings is probably protected by some sort of flak armor at the very least. Because your belly is an incredibly important thing to protect, as if it catches a bullet and it tears through your organs or your bladder or something, that's a very slow and painful way to die. And very difficult to stop, like with field medics and stuff. Elite troops often wear heavier and more advanced armors than other soldiers in the army. Many are powered suits that are capable of augmenting the strength of their wearer. This not only helps to reduce the armor's weight, but also allows the wearer to wield heavier and more dangerous weapons. Elite armors range from... Oh, it's a hi, Talan! Elite armors range from the crude mega armor of the orcs to the advanced power armor of the space marines of their allies. Pants on fire. She doesn't pay for heating in winter. Aquila pattern helmet. The power armor of the space marines defines their way of war. There's like no room for head in there. Multiple layers of ablative and shock absorbent materials, primarily ceramic in origin. Common materials include carbon fiber, plast fiber, and thermoplast strips. Is that for guardsman armor? Yeah, flak armor. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Depending on the story you read, it changes drastically. But again, depending on the story you read, changes what regiment you're following and where that regiment was recruited and where their equipment came from. So sometimes guardsman armor can be really, really good. Sometimes it can be absolutely terrible. There's been more than one time I've read a flak armor barely doing anything to save somebody, and it's basically just a fabric. Like layers of fabric with fluff in the middle. It's like, yeah, that's a terrible Vietnam era armor. However, you got others where it's like protecting them from proper shooting. But from the sounds of it, it sounds more like the type of armor that the elites, like the Tempestus Scions, or the Casflikin or whatever, would be armed with. With that being said, some guards and regiments, that basically is just the common armor that they wear because they're just so much better equipped. Best armor is not getting hit. You missed the part where he said that no soldier plans to get hit. There's a guard regiment in Gaunt's Ghost called the Victorian Dragoons. Oh yeah, they're cool. They have armor made out of metallic glass. It looks like medieval scale armor. Yeah. Ah, very cool. I read that book. The Scions are considered elite. Kind of. They're described as stormtroopers. So the Scions are... yeah, there's a lot of... I already mentioned the thing of, yes, some soldiers do. In fact, one of the stories we read here was soldiers planning to get hit. Well, plast fiber sounds like Kevlar. Carbon fiber would shatter under direct force. Sideways, I guess. Thermoplast sounds more like thermal. Directive, yeah. It's a bit weird. I mean, carbon fiber is already used in some protective gear, like, you know, carbon fiber helmets and stuff. So, Kevlar. Yeah, plast fiber is probably something like Kevlar. Either way, plast is plastic, fiber is fiber. It sounds just like either a plastic covered fiber, so plastic strings, or just a type of plastic that, you know. I mean, polymers are already kind of fibrous in the way that they're designed, so I mean, there wouldn't be polymers if they weren't. I can understand what these terms mean, but does she dubs? No, most of this is just... But it's written in such a way that it's up to imagination for it, basically. It's like, oh, what's it called? It's like Star Trek, where we just give random names that sound roughly scientific, like... That's ultimately what it's for. Some of these things will be futuristic materials, like plascrete, which is a sort of polymer concrete, which we actually have designs for today. But you know, why don't they make armor out of diamond, since it's the hardest material in the world? Because diamond is super heavy. 1 gram of diamond is like 20 grams. What? What's that a quote from? I know diamonds are very brittle. They shatter very easily. Like, they're relatively hard, but that basically means they're kind of sharp. And they retain that sharpness. But when it comes to, like, putting concussive forces upon them, they'll break pretty easily. And also, it's expensive, even if you're going to use synthetic diamond. But it's, like, got no flexibility to it. So it's like, yeah. Reddit. Oh. But, yeah. Thermoplast. I imagine it's something that's just meant to be fire resistant from the sound of it. Like something that doesn't catch fire and won't get stuck to with the things like napalm style fire flammable material. Yeah, great. Let's absorb the impact of the hardest material. Yeah. That's not good either. Bioarmor. Some species have evolved with natural integrated defenses that help them withstand attacks. To some extent, this includes species like orcs, whose biology allows them to take significant damage with few physical or psychological effects. But some species go further than this and have evolved features that echo the form and function of armor plating. The best examples of this are undoubtedly the Tyranids, whose sturdy plates can fend off numerous battlefield threats. The armor of the Tyranid has been found to withstand shot, shell, fire and plasma. In the crucible of war, our faith and our bodies will be tested. Tyranid Tyrant God, that's a very interesting piece of art. Log entry 0019332235959583833943. What you running away for, you wimp? Get back here so I can kick you in the teeth. Diamond armor would just end up being a very large and very expensive self-hitting claymore mine. Yep. Front towards squishy parts. Yeah! I mean, having a material that is designed to break is actually important. Like helmets that you wear to protect your head. Like for hard hats, bike helmets and stuff. They're designed to break. Like that's the entire purpose. It's like crumple zones on a car. If it breaks, it means it absorbed the impact of a hit that could have cracked your skull. If it didn't break, it was made to withstand breaking, it would probably mean that your skull would crack instead. Or it would be a lot more dangerous for your head and the impact through your neck and stuff. Instead, if it's cracked, it means that the force is basically spread through the entire helmet, saving your life, or saving you from much more serious injury. But again, these things are designed to crack, not to shatter. You don't want your helmet to shatter on your head, you want it to crack. Death Dread are gigantic clanking constructs that lumber towards the enemy, snapping their wicked claws and firing off salvos of rockets. Entombed within their metal bodies are living orcs, usually having a fantastic time and making the most of their greatly improved strength and enhanced stompiness. So, background table for your Death Dread. The Death Dread pilot is having so much fun that they often don't notice when the battle is over and continue stomping and letting off rockets. Well, they compress and crack. Diamond skips that first bit because it's a rigid structure, and so all the energy, yeah, would still go to you. Yeah, making armor out of diamonds is very likely to just not really help. Ceramics are very good because not only do they crack, which can help keep the impact, but usually when it comes to being hit, you don't really care about spreading the impact around too much. The entire thing is stopping things like bullets. And ceramics have this entire thing of the harder you hit them, the kind of harder they become. So they're very, very good at resisting really sudden force impacts, like from bullets, shrapnel, even explosions and stuff. So they kind of resist and absorb it. And it might break and shatter them in the end, but they're very good at just, you know, stopping the attack entirely. And it's very good. You also have, there's been various designs for like more complicated ceramics and so on, but they're expensive. Where basically they have a more open, springy type construct to them, so that they can withstand more attacks before the plate itself completely shatters. Even if it gets hit once, you should still replace the plate, but it means that you could get hit multiple times and the plate armor would still be standing up. Also, ceramics are actually quite easy to get back depending on the type of ceramic. Hi, bats! Force equals mass times acceleration. Lots of force, literal mass, lots of acceleration, often known as people group. Yeah. Oh, what other designs of them are there? There's a one that has a weird twisting design to it. It's weird. I don't know if they actually make them, but I have seen that design. There's been a few designs that have been done. So I think like one of the designs is like a thin plate basically at the back, and then it's got like a triangle-ish thing like that, so it's more like that, of ceramic between the two. You do have similar ceramic plates that already exist like that, and basically it's one ceramic plate, some sort of like foamy thing in the middle, and then another ceramic plate. and the middle part's not itself ceramic. So this could be some sort of carbon fiber thing. It's more likely to be, oh, what's it called? Silk. Something like silk can be good. But it acts a bit like, layered plate armor in that regard. So the middle part helps absorb more of a blast, or like more of the attack. And it helps keep the front plate, even once it starts cracking and breaking, effectively in its position. You've also got laminated ceramics on top of that, which acts similar to... I think most ceramics actually are probably laminated anyway. But it's like laminated glass is the easiest way to get bulletproof glass. In fact, I think the first time that they developed it was kind of by accident, and it was trying to... kind of by accident. It was a gas masks, and they wanted gas masks that wouldn't shatter, like if they got hit by shrapnel or whatever, or, blast, or just because it got hit by too much force. So they laminated the glass so that even if it did crack or break, it would still keep its integrity and stay as not only stay as one piece, it wouldn't get bits of glass in your eye, and also it would keep it sealed. So even if the glass is cracked, the laminate should keep it sealed, so you won't get the gases seeping in. Didn't always work like that, mind you, but effectively they realised, wait, this is incredibly effective. And that's where the first bulletproof glass came into play. Hey Kunja, have you seen Cowboy Bebop? I've seen bits of Cowboy Bebop. It's been a hard show for me to get into, though. Not seen Outlaw Star, and I saw a bit of Trigun. Like the glass they use for beers. I guess so. I don't really know about the glass they use for beers. Windscreens and cars are laminated glass. Yeah. I mean, the glass that you get now... I mean, for a lot of shatterproof glass is going to be laminated glass. And same with shatterproof plastics. Well, some shatterproof plastics anyway. Others will just be a different type of plastic, a more flexible one. I'm pronouncing beer. Oh, glass for use for bears. Oh, sorry, I misread it. I thought it was double E, not A. I apologise. For bears. Oh, probably. Windscreens and cars are definitely laminated because the entire thing is when you crash, it doesn't want glass all over your face. But generally not bulletproof, but one of the reasons why is bullets are a lot more powerful than they were back in WW1. So, yeah. Head empty, need more beer. No! I'm not sure actually how modern bulletproof glass is made. I swear I knew about it once. I'd guess it would be made of like clear plastic and glass together. So like you'd have laminate, clear plastic, glass, clear plastic, laminate, or maybe multiple layers of it. So that way it'll just be ridiculously sturdy. And it will be able to absorb a lot more shock than standard glass. That's what I'd guess bulletproof glass would be like. I know that you have other forms of glass though nowadays, which is like they use I think Gorilla Glass. I'm not sure about it. You got a lot of different types of glass. A lot of them is a lot sturdier. But then you got Orc Faction ability is the War, where they add 1 strength and attacks to their melee weapons. And they get 5+ invulnerable saves. But that's only like 1 turn. But it's a very powerful turn when it does happen. Oh look, Orc heads and skulls. Another battle you can do with these things. what do they call it? Oh no, never mind, it's not another battle, it's just talking about the orcs. And their rules. But let's see, what's in our last thing? Don't forget to like the stream, by the way. Okay, it's a surprisingly small base for a death dread. And then let's look. I think this is... Oh yeah, another cool little orky thing there. Another rocket thing there. Another chainsaw. Big old mouthpiece. More orky symbols. Big old mouth. Big old burner. Spiky bits. I'm trying to find something. I swear for like more head choices in this. I swear I saw some. Oh yeah, there you go. Instead of... That's a face choice you can have, and so is this piece. Yeah. Or maybe they're just more killicunny things. I don't know. But look, it's a death dread. Oh, so cool. How will this fit in the Black Templar? It won't be part of a Black Templar army. It's going to be part of an Orky army. What did I call the Orky army in the end? I forgot. New recruit. My army list. Let's go down. Oh yeah, the stink bag orcs. We got the stink bag orcs. That's what we got. And they're part of the... What's it called? They're Death Skull army. Although we do also have some sneaky orcs. Oh gosh, our first page is ripping. Orc culture. Oh, we're finally learning about orc culture. Yeah. Talan won't like this one, but look at all them orcs. Oh, look, it's a Morkanaut. Or a Gorkanaut. A horde of Goths charges straight to the enemy to administer a proper kicking. I think that's a Gorkanaut. Would make sense of a Goths. I think they prefer Gork over Mork. Let's look. Let's go to our favourite website to find out. Oh, look. Featured news. Oh, demons. Nah, there's nothing cool here. Never mind. Give me a good one. Did you win? I don't think you won. That's a nice cut. Stuff off a Marshall's drink. No, they won't become a coaster. Having culture doesn't make you smart, as exemplified by the British. We don't have our own culture. We just stole it from everybody else. Orcs. Scrolly downy 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 down Rob Downey Jr. Right, okay, so that's a Morkanaut and that's a Gorkanaut. Yeah, it was a Gorkanaut with a big old Gatling gun. The Morkanauts were ones with like the big old force fields and the custom mega blastery stuff. Morkanaut's my favourite because it's a mech one. That's our culture stealing. Don't you forget it. Stealing and shanking. So what are these guys? Oh, they're the Hellblasters. Oh, they're the Hellblasters. Plasmy boys. Killer cans. Bikey bikes. Those are just normal intercessors. Those are Hellblasters. And that's a Graphis Aggressor over there. Orc Warboss for Tack Squig, Orc Boys, Killer Cans, Dreft Dread, Big Mech with Force Field, Gorkanaut, Warbites, and Fat Guy Fair. Oh, he's for War Trike. The guys back there, are they commandos? Oh no, those are knobs here for big ones. Behind them are Burner Boys. Up there it looks like Lutus. Oh no, that's a battle wagon, sorry. I thought that was a building at first. Is that just normal orcs? No, they're all knobs. All of them at the back there, but then you got a big mech with shock attack gun up there. And then off in this corner, yeah, just
and
do more
D is all the
boys.
goths, the smackiest of orcs.
Yeah, they're the... No, don't, the goths are the worst of the orcs. They're the worst. A horde of goths charges straight at the enemy to administer a proper kicking, a proper crumping. Orc culture. Yeah, I have to spell it with a K and a U and an L and a T and a U and an R. Although some observers may pointedly describe orcs as being distinctly uncultured, but may actually have a complex identity and a considerable range of interesting and unique cultural practices. All the orcs get their identities from the different parts of society to which they belong. At the lowest level, each orc will be part of a warband, which may be as small as a few units or as large as a sizable army. All the warbands in any given area constitute a tribe. The tribe will be led by a warboss who has the authority, and the biggest choppiest chopper, to impose shared goals and to send the tribe to war. Each tribe also belongs to a clan. Clans span the entire galaxy, and members of a clan share a cultural identity with each other. This is particularly obvious in foes in their different approaches to fighting. The no-nonsense goths favour only the most direct and brutal of strategies, while the members of a Bloodaxe clan are usually sneaky, and the Snakebite clan are obsessive hunters and tamers of the wildest beasts, and so on. Our Snakebite still exist, yay! I said they were the smackiest of orcs, never said they was the bestest. No, they're not the smackiest, they're the least smacky. They want to be the smackiest, but they're not. Because they all get shot before they all do anything. Although back when they had rules for it, goths getting exploding on hits or sixes, just like the shooting, was really funny. Like exploding hits as in like they might damage themselves. Currency. Orcs are the only species known to use teeth as a currency. Bigger teeth are naturally worth more, but even the puniest orc can never be truly broke, as they can resort to getting a punch in the face to free up a bit of loose change. As if they generated extra hit rolls. Oof, that's painful. Ugh. Okay, we're getting lots of lore now. Lots of good lore. Strange science. Most orcs don't care why their ramshackle technology works as long as it's dead killy, but their enemies are constantly confounded by the fact that their bizarre contraptions can actually function, if not reliably. Orc devices may be lethally effective in the hands of their creators, but rarely work at all when removed and tested by Imperial scholars. This has led some to speculate that Orc technology may run on a psychic field generated by the Orcs themselves. The truth will likely be never known. It's because all the tech is just biocoded. Imagine if that was the case. Hi, Malamal! Not like sustained hits in 10th, you still had to roll to hit with those dice. But did those dice have a chance of generating extra hits so that you could have infinite hits? Because I thought at first, hi Chaotic Island as well. Half a love heart to both. Love heart to both of you, yeah! Because when I was testing out sustained hits of this time, I thought it just generated extra attacks that you had to roll to hit with. And I ended up turning 5 attacks into like 13 attacks because I kept just rolling 6s. I'm like, okay, this is a bit ridiculous. And then I found out, no, it just becomes... It becomes as an extra hit without having to roll again. The power of colour. I do like the Ork vehicles would look right at home in a Mad Max film. Yeah! Power of colour. Of all the Ork superstitions, one of the most significant is the great faith they place in supernatural powers of colour. The Orks believe that every hue has its own special property, which it can impart to a bearer of their gear if slapped on it in sufficient quantities. The resulting rite of colour in which they take to the battlefield may look strange to their foes, but for Orks, a good coat of the right paint is just as important a part of their war gear as a proper sharp chopper or a spare slugger clip or 3. Red is for speed. Red is the quickest and the speediest of colours. Ah! Look what we did for purple! Oh, that's great. It's the speediest colour that you can point your wagon because everyone knows the red one go faster. Look at that, it's red. I wish you still had the options of colour of the vehicles at the very least. But you don't. Yellow is a wealth. Yellow is the snazziest colour and is used by the flash kits for showing off and boasting. Yeah. Green is the best. Green is obviously the best colour out of all of them. Because that's what colour Orks is. Blue is lucky. Blue is lucky. Blue is the luckiest colour. Nobody wearing blue has ever complained of being killed by bad luck. It's true. It's true. Can't argue with that. Now, those couldn't generate extra hits, unfortunately, because the same rule would apply to dakka of a shooting. Oh. Purple is sneaky. Purple is the sneakiest colour. Never seen a purple Ork, have you? Exactly. Oh, that's just perfect. Like, each of them you can see a battle wagon painted in the correct colour. A Bad Moon. Oh, it's the Bad Moon clan. I'm purple. No battle wagon. Hi, Dr. Smilex. Have you seen the purple battle wagon? It's really impressive. Best painting I've ever seen in my life. Oh, look at that. It's a bunch of goths. That's a really cool art, to be honest, even if I don't like the goths. Fighting threatens to break out amongst the boys as they all try to push to the front. Orks of a goth clan can be found anywhere in the galaxy, dressed in black and carrying massive choppers. These close combat enthusiasts are more than a match for anyone who thinks they're hard enough. The goths are the largest and most feared Ork clans in the galaxy. They have a straightforward approach to war, and are famous for wearing drab black clothes as they consider anything more flamboyant to be mucking around or showing off. Many of their warriors wear horned helmets, or the bet to deliver a brutal headbutt to anyone who gets in their way. Basically, the goths are stupid. You're not stinky anymore. Also, cat. I'm not a cat! I just got turned into one for a little bit. No, turned into a cupcake that looks oddly like a cat. The goths prefer to fight in huge infantry formations with little regard for formal strategy, often appearing much more like a highly mobile riot than a proper army. The goths' unforgiving approach to battle lends them suffering a truly dreadful casualty rate, even for Orks. Only the toughest, strongest survive in the goth clan. Only the toughest and strongest. More Orks are lost to the carnage of battle, but the survivors must also face a culture of endless infighting and lethal squabbling. This leads to a higher concentration of nobs than most other clans, along with some of the most brutal war bosses that can be found anywhere. Then we've got... oh, it's talking more about goths. Orkiest of Orks. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about for Tempesta Science before. I'm not stinky. Why would you say such things? I had a bath like 3 weeks ago. Question, have we only read and not done anything else? Yeah, that's what most of these combat patrols, when we get them, we read all the cool stuff in them. And if there's time left, we might build something. But mostly it's just reading. And then later in the week, we build something from the Combat Patrol magazine. 3 weeks ago. I'm joking. I'm joking. I had a bath last night and had a wash this morning. Actually, no, it was this afternoon because I was in a rush to get to my member stream this morning. Reading is fun. Reading is fun. Oh yeah, stormtroopers. The Tempesta signs are stormtroopers. They are generally better equipped, but that's because the Astra Monitorium, the people in charge of basically, no, not the Monitorium, there's something. Basically, the people in charge of Administratum, the Administratum likes the stormtroopers more, so equips them better. They're also trained generally from like childhood to be the perfect soldiers. But a lot of the females in the thing will be turned into Sisters of Battle or sent to be turned into Sisters of Battle. Not all will succeed. Not all will want to. It's also where commissars come from. But they're not necessarily elite. Because, and this is one of the reasons why in lore you'll often see the Tempesta's scions like fail spectacularly. Or just be really stupid and overconfident. It's because they're based on and inspired by a certain type of stormtrooper and, politicized thing that wasn't part of a main military arm and instead was part of a political party. Do you know in WW2 they spoke German, if that helps out, and they were often called stormtroopers. But if you don't know, a stormtrooper isn't an elite soldier. They're often better equipped, but they're not necessarily elite. So, and they basically get their names of trying to break through enemy trenches, enemy fortifications and stuff. And they go in massive waves of troops who are designed or who are just meant to just run into the enemy, get shot down in absolute mass, taking massive casualties on the front lines, but to break through the enemy forces and to take the position. Or at least cause so much damage and chaos that the next main actual attack can work. They are often a bit better trained and disciplined than your normal soldier because, they need them to not flee as everyone around them is dying. But to call them elite is a bit weird. And this is not what the Space Marines are. The Space Marines are not stormtroopers. The Space Marines, with the exception of basically the Black Templar and the World Eaters, Space Marines do not fight like that. Space Marines are special forces. The special forces are that they deploy usually in small squads to strike at weak, unprotected zones and take out leaders, important supply lines, ambush enemies, or do basically lots of, imagine Space Marine 2 for operative missions there, but imagine there's much less forces actually going against them. So instead of fighting 200 Termagants, you're fighting against like 50 Termagants. Instead of fighting against 2 Carnifexes, you probably won't see a Carnifex. They are shock troops, not storm troops. Shock troops, yeah. Shock troops are different from storm troops. But I'm not really sure of much of the major differences in the terminology of the two. I think shock troops aren't designed to take large casualties. They attack where the enemy is weak. And generally they attack with armoured vehicles, don't they? not as just infantry, so you usually find a bunch of APCs and tanks would smash into a position, and then the troops would deploy to, or would already be deployed to effectively guard the vehicles and to take the location. Is that what the shock troops are? Well, yeah, stormtroopers and the Tempestus Scions are described as stormtroopers quite often. They also do fulfill a role, I guess, more similar to shock troopers as well, of attacking when enemies weak. And often their role that you see in a lot of the lore is designed to be just attacking where the enemy's weak, and how you play on the battlefield would be in the board game is very similar. But stormtroopers' roles is generally like going in waves, and that is actually one of the things that you do sometimes see in the lore that the Tempestus Scions will do. But it's weird. Marines kind of bring the armor already. Yeah. Marines, and they deploy in mass. They deploy more like modern shock troop style warfare. Or power drop style warfare. Halo, more accurately. Hi, Tony for Tanuki. I found a bear. Why? I don't have my bag, but I don't have my beer glass. But yeah. And Tempestus Scions, and the reason I'm talking Storm Boys is that's exactly what Storm Boys do in the Orcs. They generally attack a position expecting to basically take 90% casualties. I think the early ideas of Tempestus Scions were the fact that they would take that many casualties. I think the first writings of them, they did do that. Because I think I read about them when I was first in the hobby. I say first in the hobby when I was still regularly in the hobby. But yeah. Tempestus Scions are kind of meant to be elite, but often aren't really that elite. Are not necessarily always used as you would expect an elite force to be used. Actually, I guess if one of the things is, if you deploy them with a Tauroxis, and you're going against equal forces, and you're going for a pure Tempestus Scion army without the tanks, like without Lehman Russes and stuff, because technically they're not Tempestus Scion. So all you're going is with Tauroxis, Tempestus Scion infantry, which you can now make battle line, and Tempestus Aquilians. Then actually, yeah, you would probably be fighting in like a stormtrooper way, where you're sending massed infantry at them. Like, sure, it wouldn't be squads of 20, but since you lack any proper tanks, you're going to be sending mechanized infantry. Which would you'd probably be taking large casualties. And the entire way that they're designed to fight is they're designed to get close, because you have the Aquilians who have very close combat ranged weapons, because they're all carbines. And then you have the Tempestus Scions who have rapid fire weapons, I think it is. But also bring, oh yeah, they'll bring Falks too, yeah. In modern warfare, you generally don't have... I think the only armies that have stormtroopers right now are the... I think a couple of the African and Middle Eastern armies. The Chinese army and the Russian army. And, you know, similar sorts of armies kind of have the same idea of stormtroopers. They are very, very bad ideas. You lose... You don't just take 90% casualties. You take 90% casualties and you don't take the enemy's position. And when you do, you take it, it's because you had armoured support and you lost most of your armour. And your enemy probably took very few casualties and decided to fall back and just let you take the position once you wore yourself down really thin. That's generally what happens to shock troopers in the modern war. Because modern warfare is all about maneuver. It's about giving up ground as long as you're just bloodying your enemy. And then you retake it after the enemy's taken that ground. That's what you're meant to do anyway. And as a result, and similarly in 40k, that's actually kind of what happens if you tried to using a stormtrooper style army. You'd probably take massive casualties, and you're probably not going to win against a good opponent. Oh gosh. Well, 40k is played at much shorter ranges, so you know, you actually do have a chance of that type of army. But yes, I got taken off track. Military strategy was something I had to do. Orcs are for orcs. The knobs. Oh no, this is the gob still. Orcs are known for being stompy, fighty and bashy, while some of the orc clans are known for mixing these with other traits like being sneaky, stompy, fighty and bashy. The goths are simply the stompiest. See, they're not the slappiest or whatever, they're the stompiest. They're not a smackiest. Stompy. Are simply the stompiest, the fightiest, and the bashiest. If there's no smacky here, there's just stomp, fight, and bashy. They all prefer to use direct and abrupt assault without having to spend any time on tedious plans and strategies. They love anything more than a good scrap and need very little excuse to get stuck into anyone who happens to stand in their way. Nano. Hi, Nano! Wait, did I know to say hi to you? Maybe. I wonder how well the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would do in 40k. Probably bad. I think they could do well. If you apply maneuver to stormtroopers, are you basically going to force them to create salience and basically defeat themselves in detail? Kinda. I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think they wouldn't do too badly. Like, most worlds probably wouldn't care too much about mutants. They might get hunted down a little bit, but that's honestly not too different from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the comics. They'll probably have to be a bit rougher. But no, they'll probably still be able to perform as heroes in a world like Necromunda. Or something similar. Wonder if you can play Temu Imperial Knights with Orc. You can. Orcs have 3 types of mechs they can take to a battlefield. The Stomper, which is basically fair, cheaper, worse Warhound Titan, but that can melee Titans.
TMNT used to live in New York. Necromunda is nothing.
Yeah. It would hit the sewer jackpot. Yeek. I will probably also be better armed if it was in 40k. Got to go now. See you all again. Good. Sleep well. Sleep well and drink lots of cola, Dr. Smilex. Oh, well, as long as it's not going to give you diabetes. But they wouldn't even notice a difference. Maybe, maybe not. But notice power weapons and be like, whoa, this world's way better. Yeah, so you got Stompers, you got Garkanauts, and you got Markanauts. So if we go back here, Garkanauts. So we got 3 different types. So you can have 3 Garkanauts, 3 Markanauts. That gives you 6. They don't really have an equivalent. They're equivalent to like Imperial Knights. This thing is more similar to a Warhound, but it's cheap enough that you could throw it at an Imperial Knight. In terms of effectiveness, I'd say it would be similar to the large Forge World Imperial Knights. The Imperial Armor ones currently. Probably a bit more powerful and bigger than them though. The Markanauts and Garkanauts are around the same size and fightiness as an Imperial Knight and similar points values. They wouldn't have really an equivalent for Armiger, but you could throw Death Dreads down. They do have a detachment specifically for that though, called the Death Dread Detachment, I actually think it might be its name, of a Dread Attachment. But that is basically focuses all around Ork Walkers, and which the Stomper, the Morkanauts, the Gorkanauts, the Death Dreads, the Killikans are all the Ork Walkers. And it also focuses around mechs, so any unit that a mech joins also gains advantage on detachment. The detachment's really, really fun because each time you shoot, basically, you can choose to roll up to 2 dice to change what your weapon does. So it can give it sustained hits, it can give it to lethal hits, or you can choose what it gives you. But if you do so, your weapons become hazardous. It just makes you super shooty and super daka. It's really nice. If you were to play 40k competitive, I would play Temu Imperial Knights. I don't think playing for Death Dread Detachment as you know, mechs is very competitive, but I've heard it is extremely fun. The main reason being is that Ork mechs are a bit overcosted and a bit very weak. They're also very temperamental in how effective they are, since most of your attacks will be hitting on a 5+. They get a lot of attacks, which means that their maximum potential is very high, but on average, they're going to do decently well. But there's also a large chance of you just completely flumping all of your rolls. So, can the Lord be a mecha? Oh, you do need a tiny dude, yeah. You could have Gaskell Thrak on the field. And he's a massive. It used to be he took up 15 spaces in an Ork transport, but now he only takes up 4. But he's big enough to be an armiger. Have you heard of a Heart of a Card? It makes everything you love meta. But yeah, I don't think you can have a mech. I do think you need a tiny dude as your character. Oh yeah, the Death Dread Detachment also makes Grots battle lines, so you can have lots of Grots. And it also, oh yeah, it doesn't just benefit mechs, it also benefits Grot vehicles like Grot tanks, and the mech guns count as Grot vehicles, and the Grot mega tank. Have you... Going from 15 spaces to 4 when they're dropping their method. It's basically just to make Gaskell more playable. Because he's slow, he can only join Mega Nob squads, which are even slower than he is. And it meant that if you put him in a squad, he couldn't really join a battle wagon. But now you can have a fully armoured... I actually don't think it can be fully armoured up, I still think you can't have an hard case on it. But he can also join units of boys now, which is apparently powerful, but it does mean that while he's part of the unit of boys, he's only toughness 5, which is still pretty good toughness. Oh, yeah, I don't think you can have a mech as your warlord, so you would need... But you could have a normal mech as your warlord, though, and mechs have a special rule where as long as they are within 6 inches of a vehicle, they get lone operative, meaning that you can't target them unless you're within 12 inches of them. Meaning, for the most part, you can just keep your mech safe and protected. And for mech, it's also not a bad idea to take because he can repair your vehicles. And he's also got a pretty decent pistol. That is still better than the Age of Sigmar Imperial Knight equivalent for Gargants. I like the Gargant army, it's silly. But yeah, most factions can actually roll an Imperial Knight style army. Not all factions can, most factions can. For the Imperial Guardsmen, they can't field Walkers, but they can field Baneblades, so that's the closest they can have to an equivalent, just throwing loads of Baneblades at the enemy. It has been, I think, kind of meta in the past. Nowadays, having a single Baneblade or super heavy is kind of meta, sometimes too. this is only like what I've heard kind of loosely. I don't really follow the meta. Space Marines don't really have a proper equivalent that's not Legends. The closest they can do is just throw all Dreadnoughts at you. In fact, it's 9 Dreadnoughts they can have without going into Legends. And they do have a... If you do go into Legends, they do have a Dreadnought character that they can use as their HQ. And I'm not sure if any other army has a Dreadnought HQ, though. Option. Oh no, the Space Wolves do. The Space Wolves do. Redemptors and stuff are kind of big enough. And you can take the Invictor Warsuit, which would help. Imperial Flesh Knights are awesome. Nobody likes the Sons of Bahamut army. Actually, a bunch of people do. It's cool. I think I like it more just in theory then. But I just think it's cool. Actually, no, I have seen them played. I saw an Age of Sigmar battle because people were saying the Imperial Gargants are really fun. And it was back when I was watching a bunch... I want to watch more. I really like battle reports and like watching battles. I watched a bunch of Old World ones. Anthony likes the Gargants. I like the Gargants. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know what was going on in the Age of Sigmar battle too much, so... I didn't find it that fun. Anthony is memming. You're allowed to like them for the mem as well. But what can other armies do? For Eldar do have their own knight equivalent, but I think they can only have 3 of it. And you do have the Wraith Lords. If you include Legends, you got more access to different Wraith engines. But they also have their Revenant Titan, I think it's called. So you got the Wraith Knights and the Revenant Titan. So they can still field a decent size army. It's just... They will struggle to do a proper Imperial Knights mem playthrough though. And not a lot of armies really have an Armiger equivalent. For Redemptor is an Armiger equivalent or War Dog equivalent because it has very similar stats. In fact, it's slightly tougher. Like it's got better armor save. What else? Chaos Marines can't really, unless Mauler and Forge Fiends count. You just have the Chaos Knights. Same with all the other Chaos armies. Mauler and Forge Fiends is the closest we can get. And they are pretty big though, so that's nice. Watch many say Hypo, Baytrap with Bahamut Sons playing. They are fun. People play them because they are very simple to play. They have a single priest character, no mages, no mobility, no future, dry lips, no maidens. Hey! Stop insulting the Sons of Bahamut. They're fun. But what other armies are? The Necrons. Ooh, the Necrons don't really have an equivalent. It's like the closest equivalent they have to a knight is their closest equivalent that they have to a titan. And it's not really big enough to be a titan. It's slightly too big to be a knight. And the rest of the vehicles feel a bit too... Monoliths. Monoliths are basically, and obelisks and those range of stuff are the closest that they get to knights, I guess. And they are pretty powerful in close combat too. They have ridiculous attacks. So yeah, they are pretty knight-like. They're just not walkers. And they're definitely the size of knights. Dark Eldar don't have an equivalent at all. They don't even have titans. Tau, they have their massive walkers, the Riptide battlesuits, their Ghost Kill battlesuit, and then their giant battlesuit that's Resin. Stomper detected. Stomper detected, yeah! You're simple, I want to imagine, for people sent flying. Yuck! It's like making an old giants army for the orcs in Total War. But anyway, Goth technology. Although they are fighting focused, the Goths still use technology to further their brutal campaigns. It should come as no surprise that they take particular delight in many of the more lethal orcish contraptions, and the more claws, rockets and bombs they can strap to them, the better. They also make great use of vehicles like battle wagons. After all, for a clan that places so much value on fighting, what could be more welcome than an even quicker way of getting to the front of a battle? Orc boys risk getting squashed as they race a massive stomper to battle. Come on then, who wants some? Storm boys, even among the battle-hungry Goths, most orcs would think better of strapping a rocket engine to their backs and blasting into combat. But the Storm boys part shock troopers part sentient projectiles are drawn from the clan's rebellious youths, and have no problem flying in the face of clan traditions in their pursuit of a good crumpin. And then Gaskell Thacker, the leader of the Goths. The Goths are basically the Ultramarines of the Orcs, they're the face of the clan, for the biggest faction. Everything that happens with Orcs is basically always the Goths that appear. The main leader of the Goths, of the Orcs, is Gaskell Thacker, who is a Goth. Gaskell strides forward to where the fighting is the fiercest. The Goths are not named after the...
Nobody likes Ultramarines.
People do. Have we not seen Marnia's Cowgod's got a new model? Everyone loves it, especially for Dark Elder fans. Imagine if you will, a Goth's bone break. Oh, wait,
Imagine, if you will, a Goth's bone breaker. Smacker, smacker, smacker with the roller.
Yuck! I like Ultramarines. I want to paint one for every colour of the rainbow. Yeah! Not as cool as Space Dwarfs. Yeah! People, in quotation marks. Well, yeah. Oh, wait, what are they fighting? That's a blue. Space Wolves? Night Lords? No, it won't be Chaos. Trying to tell what they are. It doesn't look ultramarine. The white hair and grey skin reminds me of Night Lords. It's got golden trim. Doesn't look chaosy though. I wonder who that is. Maybe it's a salamander successor? Are there any salamander successors that wear blue? Wolves. Could be a wolf. I mean, it's got a braid. That could be wolfy. Space wolves. It's a grey skin that gets me. Maybe it's just a coloration though. Yeah, probably wolves. Prophet of Gork and Mork. Look like the space wolf. Yeah. Gaskell believes that he's a prophet of Orc gods, Gork and Mork. Whether or not this is strictly true, he has proved to be an excellent rabble-rouser, inspiring entire planets of orcs with his premonitions. Wait. Pronouncements! So I thought it said premonitions, but then it was just an archy way of spelling them. I thought I realised it's pronouncements instead. Doesn't he get premonitions? Or is that a weird boy or something that like follows him around? Or is that Makari? I don't know. The Grand Warlord. Gaskell is a war boss without equal, a fact for which his enemies are profoundly grateful, as his campaigns of unparalleled violence have laid waste to countless worlds. Gaskell Thacker was a lowly orc warrior until a major blow to the head granted him visions of conquest that he believed came directly from the orc gods. Inspired by what he saw, he raised a great war and began his infamous campaign against the world of Armageddon. You know, he's got a lot of failure on his plate, has this Gaskell Thacker. It's a bit like Abaddon in a way. Like, his entire thing is he ended up leading a war, went straight for Armageddon, lost, did it again, lost, did it again, lost. It's like, what do you mean he's the greatest warlord? He kind of sucks. Although he was ultimately defeated, Gaskell was far from finished. He continues to lead his fellow Goths into battle across the galaxy. Like all orcs, he loves to get stuck in the fight, blasting apart his foes at close range with his gun. Mork's roar or ripping them to shreds with Gork's claw. Yeah. Oh gosh, more stuff. Oh, I was hoping we'd read about other things here. Ooh, this is a story about the Photon. The Photon, it's got the kin here, the kindred. Oh, Mikari, there he is. Mikari, Gaskell's faithful banner raver. Mikari is famously the luckiest grot who has ever existed. No matter how hard of fighting, he always survives to follow his master into the next battle. Except he doesn't. Gaskell is deeply fond of Mikari, and as nobody has a nurse to give Gaskell bad news, every time Mikari dies...
This is a story about a girl who changed the whole world with just her smile.
Hi Quadro, how you doing? We're doing well. Goth, are you saying Goth? Yeah, that's what these guys are with a Goth clan. See, Goth. Goff. They're not based on, you know, the goth, for emo-like fashion and music trend. They are inspired instead by, do you know, the Germanic goths that attacked Rome and sacked Rome and stuff. Yeah, but it's them, a Germanic group of peoples that were inspired by. And there's a lot of Germanic inspiration for the orcs, especially the original orcs. Especially the Storm Boys. And the Gaskell Thracker's banner used to have this particular symbol in it that came from India and was adopted by a certain political party in the 30s and 40s. That was very, very bad. And then, but the orcs, it's less inspired by the Germanic people and those that were then in like the 60s and 70s and stuff. You know, like British gangs and bikers and stuff that then imitated from the neo version of them, the new version. Yeah, that's what they were originally inspired. You still see some of those traits in the orcs today, like the orcish way of speaking is kind of based on this thug English style way of speaking. But a lot of that's been moved away from. Visigoths. Yeah, the Visigoths. Yeah, no one likes giving him bad news, so every time Mikari dies, he's quietly replaced by a new lucky grot before his loss is noticed. You go stomp them gits, boss. They're proper asking for it. We're all right behind you. Yeah. The force of the Space Wolves charge desperate. The force of the Space Wolves charge desperately into War Gaskell. Honestly, this does not look like a good fight for the Space Wolves. We've got a Land Raider here. Some Blade Guard. Oh no, they're not Blade Guard, they're Wolf Guard or whatever. Going up against Mega Knobs. Okay, they could probably win that fight against the Mega Knobs as long as Gaskell doesn't get involved. Oh, but then you got a Wolf Lord versus Gaskell. I don't think that guy's gonna win against Gaskell.
You say it doesn't look good for the Space Wolves, but I bet they are having fun.
Yeah, both sides are probably having fun. That's a great thing about this. That's a repulsor. I think if it was a Land Raid, it'll be in a better position. Because it could, a normal Land Raider could actually have a chance of at least destroying these two things before it itself got destroyed. In either case, a Stomper would be... Oh my gosh, look at that Dreadnought just completely surrounded that Redemptor. Oh wait, no, there's a bunch of Space Wolf Bloodclaws or something up there as well. Oh no, are they the Bloodclaw variant? Are they Phobos Marines? Oh no, they're Reavers. Or do you know the Space Wolf equivalent of the Reavers? Because they got the Graph Shoot packs. Okay, so they're not doing too badly up there. They still seem greatly outnumbered, but we can't see the rest of the Space Wolf forces. The Great War! Gaskull's continuing crusade against absolutely everyone else is far greater in scope than anything that his enemies have ever seen before. Weak Primaris equipment, not all of last cannons. I mean, it's kind of true. And unless that's an executioner there, which an executioner can have pretty powerful guns on it, they're going to be in a terrible position. We don't have a lot to actually do with all the armoured might. Have we got a second Stomper at the back there? We've got 2 Stompers and a Morkanaut. But for Gaskull's continuing crusade against absolutely everyone else is far greater in scope than anything that his enemies have ever seen before. Where normal war might consist of a single force attacking a single planet, or perhaps a planetary system, what Gaskull has achieved is a galaxy-spanning torrent of death and violence, with forces under his command wreaking havoc in every corner of the galaxy. The Imperium has been absolutely confounded by the scale of Gaskull Thrakker's campaign, and has tried but failed to stamp out Gaskull's forces. Of the many challengers who have tried to stop Gaskull, Ragnar Blackmane... Okay, I think that... Is that Ragnar Blackmane? I don't know. Of the Space Wolves probably came closest to succeeding. On the hive world of Krogar, the 2 warriors duelled. Although Ragnar's grievously wounded himself, he managed to decapitate Gaskull before he fell. However, the Great Orc's head was returned to his surgeon, Mad Dog Grotsnik, who was able to decapitate it onto an even larger body. And so, Gaskull's Great War continues. Yeah, that's happened to him a few times. If you don't know, Gaskull has had right now, I think, 3 official models, 1 an unofficial conversion. But technically, I say unofficial, kind of semi-official conversion of an Orc War Boss. So originally, the Orc War Bosses kind of had these, you know, Hunnish, Mongolian-style hats, you know, with a fur brim, a bit like Vitalians wear now. And it was just a normal Orc, kind of stunty and small. Had a big old axe, a big old banner on his back, and I don't even think Makari was around at that point. And he didn't have any other mega armor, anything like that, just a cloak. And then they brought him out properly, and it was a similar but a slightly larger model. It had its own special banner, and I think again it had an axe and like a pistol. And it was just an orc. It wasn't in mega armor. But then I think he got like badly injured for the first time. And he got a new mega armor upgrade. And that one was really cool, but it was much smaller than his current upgrade. And I think it was after he got injured again that he got his current model. That is the reason you don't go
for the head. It doesn't work. He just comes back. Cut off their limbs. Dead Space reference.
I mean, cut off the limbs, cut off the head, and then burn it all. You need to just incinerate the body completely. But yeah, I do like how his constant sizing up and increasing in scale is basically also mirrored in his lore. There's not a lot of characters have that. Abaddon's size increases and stuff has kind of been in the lore. Often, you know, for Chaos God's dark power, increasing his size, stature, and power. Marnius Kalgar's size increase was basically his Terminator armor was just bigger than everyone else's Terminator armor. And he had Terminator armor and Artificer armor. That's why he went from on foot to Terminator armor. Then he got his Gravis armor, and then he's got his Terminator armor back. And he also went through the Rubicon. So it's kind of fun. The brave crews who fly the pioneer ships of the kin are always on the lookout for anything that presents a danger to their kindred. Just as keenly as they scout for forces to mine, and danger is one of the few things they are guaranteed to find as they delve into uncharted expanses of the galactic core. Ymir ran towards his goal with the replacement filter in his hand. Every task was a race against time, not because the ship was falling apart, far from it. For Argrave was a pioneer vessel in its prime. It boasted unmatched speed, one of the best crews available, and all the ornaments they had managed to fit into it. But any slight failure was still a failure. And if it was followed by another failure and then another, soon after that, falling pebble would become an avalanche. Eventually the ship would stop functioning. And in the perilous environment of the galactic core, this type of failure took no prisoners. Perhaps even worse than the possibility of dying in the freezing void, Ymir would have to spend his last moments thinking about how he was the one who caused it. Eventually, Ymir came to the service hatch, or Ymir. I'm not sure how it's meant to be pronounced. Suddenly, Photon. Yes! Photon! Saradin won! Finally! Eventually, Ymir came to the surface hatch, and with practiced skill, he flipped it open and accessed the ventilation system. Moments later, the filter was installed and the ventilation was happily humming away. Argrave had been exploring a hitherto uncharted area for years, and Ymir was a crew knew for years, and Ymir and the crew knew the place like the inside of their eyelids. Every sound and every sight. They only had to walk past the flickering light to notice the telltale signs of its imminent failure. I mean, that's obvious. Although that being said, Imperial lights are always flickering. I passed by a relay and hear the click, click as it struggled to engage. Ymir stopped in his tracks. Something was different. A subtle vibration that didn't belong coursed through his body from the fabric of the ship. It couldn't be coming from outside, could it? Just as he started walking again, the ship jolted and lurched, as though something had struck it. Cussing, Ymir went on. It didn't make sense. The Void Master was far too practiced to crash into debris or asteroids, and was hardly likely that some alien vessel had sought them out to the void only to crash into the side of them. Ymir's heart sank as he remembered the only enemies he'd ever face who might actually do that. The orcs. See? It's not suddenly kin, it's orcs. We've been waiting for a win forever. I'm sorry about the low win rate. Ymir reached the control room at the heart of the ship. It was a bustle of noise and light. Row upon row of consoles lit the dark room, and their lights changed and flashed as information coursed through from the ship's sensors. Sure enough, they showed that an Orc ship had smashed into the side of the Argrave and wedged itself into her hull. Worse, the signals of an approaching Orc fleet were growing stronger every second. Voidmaster stood in the centre, grim, efficient and furious. Have we sent a warning? Ymir called for Voidmaster. We cannot get a signal out, he called back. They're jamming us. We must get away. Ymir saw the problem at once. Their first duty above all was to send out a warning of the approaching Orcs. The Argrave's engines roared as they fired, first forwards and then backwards in an attempt to dislodge the Orc ship, but it remained firmly stuck in the hull. They could crawl away, but the Orc vessel, slowing them down, they would be easy prey. I could take a team to blast it off, Ymir shouted over the noise. The Forage Master nodded. Ymnir barked a command to 2 nearby kin, and then sprinted off in the direction of the armory, and with them following closely behind. Hi, Noodleman. Hello. How you doing? What do you guys do here? Currently, we're reading about Ork Lore in a Combat Patrol magazine. Number 50. There we go. And look, we got a death tread in here. It was not long before they were armoured. Ymnir and his 2 companions had trained as soldiers, and they were well prepared to come to the ship's defence. There we go. Inside each suit, a multitude of sensors tracked the movement of the wearer, and the internal servos mimicked their motions, lifting the suit with them. Moments later, they headed out, towards a compartment that had been struck. The Ark vessel was well and truly wedged into the Orgrave. A similar charge will do it, said Ymnir. If we can get it in far enough, replied one of his companions. They set off to work. As the team cut through, the glow of plasma torches lit the derelict corridor. The screams and groans of metal echoed through the fabric of the ship to the compartments around. But in the vacuum of the breach, the compartment was only silence. Finally, they cut through the hull, and as the plastering fell away, a horde of orcs spilled into the corridor, as if their ship had been packed to bursting. Immediately, Ymnir and his companions swapped their plasma torches for their weapons and began blasting their way into the orc ship. Once inside, Ymnir pulled out a bandolier of charges and threw it behind them as they advanced forward. They were barely free of it when the charges went off in a flash of plasma, vaporizing the hull beneath them. Ymnir heard the engines of Orgrave roar again, but this time the hull of the orc ship tore along the fissure left by their charges. Struggling, the Orgrave pulled free, and through the opening, Ymnir saw it speed away to deliver its desperate message. There was a good chance that Ymnir and his companions had brought them enough time. True, that left them here on the Orc Hook. But 3 souls in exchange for 1 ship and a fight to a mission? That was a bargain. And though their souls might never be returned to their ancestor core, they could make sure these orcs paid a high price. Roaring a battle cry, Ymnir held down the trigger of his Itakarn plasma gun as the restless green tide flooded over them. Oh my goodness! Oh, he sacrificed himself for the ship! I'm sick and verge of collapsing, but hey, I'm still alive. Make sure to get some rest. I guess I'll sub since I'm here now. Oh, thank you! And everyone else, remember to like and subscribe too. Yeah, because. But hello, Noodle Man. How you doing? Oh, hope you feel better soon. Yeah, I hope you get some good rest and some good food in your belly. What does that say? Even in death, we are not defeated. That's true. That's true. They fought hard against them orcs. Gordang skit stompers. Nothing gets in the way of a war bosses, lads. At least not without being riddled with bullets and rockets, smashed flat with an assortment of piston-driven claws, and trampled into the mud by a stampede of bellowing lunatics. What an war boss lacks in subtlety, and it's a lot. It's more than made up for by the brute savagery and resilience of this horde, who live to rampage across the battlefield after battlefield and hurl themselves into every fight they can find. Ooh, and then we got a new scenario for them. And this is our entire army that we got so far. We've not got the Boomdacker Snas wagon yet. We've not got the killer cans, but that's a premium kit. That's probably going to come with after the photon come or what, halfway through. But there's a scenario here. There's a photon versus the orcs at the back. And next week, we're going to get our first photon model. I imagine after we get some more photon models, we're probably going to get the Boomdecker SNAS wagon as well. Also, Pink Horror and Pallid Witch. That's one I already have. I don't have Pink Horror yet. That would be a fun colour to have. But yeah. So we actually got quite a lot of Ork Lore this time. To make up for last time being, you know, barely any. And look at all these sprues we got. Okay, I can actually turn on my main lights again. And turn off this light. There we go. Look at them all. So, the Death Dread sprue, really nice. I really like all the options. It's going to be really good for converting some chimeras into orcish things. Scottish 40k ASMR, top tier. Yeah! Oh, a guy just gave me some iced blueberry biscuits. Ooh. I mean, I'm not a fan of blueberry biscuits, but yay for you. I hope you like blueberries. I hope they're tasty. Oh, I mean, the Deathcopters do look kind of cool. I just wish you had options for them. Like, it's once you built them, you'll be using all of these parts. You can't change what weapon it's got to crit. You can't give them big shooters if you wanted to. You can't change their arms. It's kind of boring. Is that how the normal kit is on the website? Like the joints under muscles and in the mouth. Oh, wait. There we go. I use Pink Horror on my nids of her fleshy bits. Oh, yeah, it's a bit like, you know, the Yippee Lictor. I painted those bits with bluey colours and tried to make making them shinier. And look, Pink Horror colours here. Oh my gosh, these are really cool paint jobs though. Oh, speak of Pink Horror and Pink Horror you shall receive. But I want to see, is the Deathcopters on the website the same Deathcopters? Here we go. Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, it just... You don't get any options for them. Which kind of sucks. But I guess we just have to deal with it. Maybe one day we'll get new, better Deathcopters that aren't push-fit models. Or even if they are push-fit models, at least do it like the neck ones, where the push-fit models at least have different weapon options that you can choose from. This is a really cool kit though.
The most common sight on these streams. The website, dreaded be its visage.
Look, we love the website. Yeah, the art kits have a lot of issues. Some of the art kits have a lot. These boys kits kind of suck. The Deathcopters kind of suck. 42 quid for the Deathcopters. 40 quid for a Death Dread. The Death Dread kit's really fun. And I like the fact that I got both of these in the Combat Patrol because it saved me a lot of money. Like a lot of money. But it's... a lot of the Orc stuff, like the Battle Wagon is such an old model for costing 75 quid. I guess you do get a lot of bits and it is like super heavy sized. But still, I just want to check though. How big is like the Redemptor Dreadnought? Like how expensive is it, sorry? So £47.50. So because you can buy it at shops for 20% off, you can buy it for less than you can buy for Death Dread since you can't buy that at shops because it's online only. But it can, it just won't be any cheaper. Gosh, that's not very fun. I'm thinking about building a second death thread from spare bits though. And I think I'll have plenty of spare bits to do that with. Because I've been looking at a lot of my spare bits. It's like, I actually have loads of spare bits here. I could just clump them all together. It would be a perfect death thread. Especially if I focus it being a more shooty than anything else. Yeah, for orcs. For orcs didn't get a refresh range that long ago, I guess. But their refresh kind of sucked. Like, you introduced they had the big snagger boys, which were nice and fun, especially if you wanted snake bites. And it introduced a lot of cool new stuff. But at the same time, you've just got so much of the plain, normal, orky stuff that people would be mostly wanting to play. And for last refresh, they got one. It wasn't very good. The kits are kind of terrible. It's kind of nice to build once, but then if you want more of them, it's like, yeah. Oh. I'm not sure. Is there any faction currently that has a lot of kits like that? I know the Tyranids. Their kits aren't the best. Like, you pay for a lot for them, then it arrives and you realise that there's not very much to the monsters that you're buying. And they're like as expensive, if not more expensive, than like a Space Marine equivalent that just the sprues. You get more sprues when you buy Space Marine thing, and it's just absolutely filled up with just pieces. And then you just get like 2 largely empty sprues of a Tyranids because they're relatively old models. And it's like, yeah. And I guess their newest units are your... Oh, what are they called? The Barbagons, which are again a push fit model. The Death Leapers. Not Death Leapers. Von Ryan's Leapers. Push fit models. The new Neuro Tyrant push fit model that you have to get with a Screamer Killer, which is also a push fit model. And the Psycho Forge, which is a push fit model. You then have your Parasite of Mortrex that has one way of building it. Your Lictor that has many ways of building it. That's a really good kit. I really liked that one. Trigon kit's not bad, to be honest. The non-Assimilator kit did disappoint me a little bit. With just how few spare parts I actually got in the end. Almost forgot to push the like button. Oh no, you have to push the like button. Everyone push the like button. And thank you, Fedweek. Oh. But yeah. I think for Tyranids, I don't mind all the push fit models too much though. And you know, for lack of variation too much either. Because it's Tyranids. But they are a swarm of identical organisms being just thrown at you. The fact that they all look kind of the same and all are push fit, I don't mind it. It just feels fitting for Tyranids. But orcs, though, are an entire species about individual identity. Like, no 2 vehicles of an orc should look the same. No 2 boys should look too much the same. And everything about them should be full of conversion opportunity and kit bashing opportunities. But a lot of their kits, I've not tried the Beast Snagger kit, so I don't know much about them, but I have seen a lot of kit bashing with them. So I assume they're decent. But a lot of the other kits just completely lack that. The Mega Knobs and the Death Dread kits are both really good, but they're both ancient kits at the same time, and they both feel for age. Well, they're not the most ancient, but they are still pretty old. They got lots of spare bits, lots of customability. The Mech Boy kit looks really good. The Big Mech kit, sorry. So it's kind of sad that you don't have a lot of that customizability and kit bash potential, or easy kit bash potential with a lot of the orc kits. Feels like they lost a lot of their identity when they decided to make these. It's like, And a pretty expensive kit sort they are in the end. Like £47 for this sprue. That is not worth £47. I'm sorry. Not that one. This one. It's such a basic kit. It should be like 30 something quid at the most. Yeah. And for 34 quid for the Orc Boys, it's like, that does not feel worth it for what you get in the end. At least not for Orcs. I don't know, I think with this Combat Patrol, it's been the most disappointed I've been in. It's been really good for savings, mind you, for this Combat Patrol army. But it's just introduced me to a load of kits that, you know, just aren't fun. It's sad. Although I am really happy to get this Death Dread kit. I'm really looking forward to getting the Killer Can kit. I'm kind of also excited for the Boomdacker Snass Wagon. But what time is it? It's 5 minutes past 7 now. It's for anybody we'd like to raid into today. What's everyone doing? Who is live? Collabs. Why is she still around? I thought she graduated. Huh. And she definitely... Wait, what's going on? Okay, I don't know. I just gotta say, we'll end the stream here. I'm a bit confused by what's going on now. There's definitely 2 streamers that I thought were graduated or suddenly streaming again. But thank you. Thank you for coming to the streams. Big hearts to you. Oh my gosh, I am melting right now. I'm gonna have to turn on my air conditioner, I think. Well, remember to work hard, play harder. Take care of yourselves and be kind to others and vice versa. Eat good food, sleep well, dream of cupcakes, but don't eat cupcakes because they're friends, not food. Goodbye, everyone. Oh yeah, and don't stream tomorrow, but on Friday, I'm thinking doing a Warhammer stream. I might change it to Rimworld depending how I feel. I might do a vote on Discord on the Warhammer community page. Bye-bye, everyone. Whee! Ah! YouTube community page, not Warhammer. Love you all. And don't forget to like, you goobers.